Everybody, welcome to the start of a new season of the Darkside Mustangs A-Square Cup Series season. Welcome to the ARCS Daytona 250 from Daytona International Speedway. For the third and final time, we come to you from Daytona for the biggest race in the ARCS season. I'm Carmen alongside me, Kevin Young. A lot of action today, and it doesn't stop as we go into the evening here. A lot of cars getting ready for the biggest race of the season to kick it off. What are we expecting tonight?
Watch the previous two races here on the Aero Broadcast Network channel. You would have saw a lot of pack racing, a lot of drivers working together, and when we get to the last couple laps, all friendships seem to go out the window. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how these drivers work together, maybe to get to the front, and then we'll see if there's a how strong those allegiances are when we see the white flag out in the air.
It's going to be a lot of fun here this evening. The duels were last Sunday during the big game. Tonight, everything begins for real. All the points on offer, stage breaks, and everything in tow. 100 laps, 250 laps. Let's get into it here at Daytona. About 5 minutes and change left in warm-up. Again, no qualifying for this race. It's a bit different with it being a two-weekend affair. So we're just going to jump in. We'll go to the starting grid when they get ready to form up and get ready to go here. But a lot of stories to and fro in the starting grid. Kind of looking through here. We'll kind of change cameras here. Seth Wansing starting 22nd tonight. A lot of work to do to get up through the field.
You see one car taking the jump there. There's a couple cars taking the jump.
It's a couple of different jumping points. That was Jeremy Breo that took the jump.
But yeah, back to the point that you said, a lot of some of these drivers that had bad, because we saw for qualifying during the Super Bowl Sunday is when the qualifying on time happened, and then the duels happened shortly after. And we saw some drivers really get themselves some good starting positions and work their way up to the front. One team that comes to mind in that regard is, I'm blanking on the name right now, Line Power Motorsports, I should say, where they got some pretty good starting points by working together. Yep, in Heat 2. But regardless of that point, though, it's going to be some drivers going to have to work their way up to the front. Other drivers going to have some comfy starting points for this very long affair. However, one thing at least keep note on, the previous two races, since Aero Broadcast Network had two races at Daytona back-to-back, one on Friday, one on Saturday, and a Chevy won both those races. So if you're driving a Chevy here tonight, you may be at least in a trends look good for you possibly to win here tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, Chevrolet's won the first two races of this week, and they won Friday night in the Twiggy iRacing Series. And then obviously they won last night with Steven Oberstadt, who is in this race tonight in the 47. He'll be trying to go back-to-back and sweep the weekend for ARCS competition. A lot of vehicles on pit lane. Last-minute checks. I believe a slight little, looks like they are in driver's meeting right now, so we are in the dire times. This is when you know it's real. Being able to talk to everyone earlier in this race, kind of just feeling everything back and forth, the nerves started to get the drivers. This is arguably the biggest race. It's obviously the biggest race of the season for the A-Square Cup Series. But it's one of, I think, at least the top three races that ARCS puts on every year. And obviously we had the draft back in January, then everything kind of leading up to it. You can't just jump in and race these cars. You can't just race in this series. And that ramps up the competition level, and everyone is aware of that. So that is going to be it's going to be exciting to follow that along here as we get ready to go. Again, for those that are just now tuning in, we've been doing this all weekend long, and we still have tomorrow night at the Charlotte Road for the HGL Cup Series, so we still don't get a break. But this is the last race of the weekend here at Daytona, and it's going to be an exciting one. The best of the best in ARCS competition here tonight. Looks like we have approaching 30 cars. We'll have to double check the exact number here. But 15 cars are set lap times here. I can see we've been working a little bit on the graphics package here, custom number fonts here, trying to just little graphical improvements as we get ready to go. But drivers meeting currently underway, so all the drivers that are present in that drivers meeting as they go over the final details before we go live.
I will say a lot of these drivers were probably finishing up watching the 500, which we will not spoil, just in case you have not watched it yet. But I think a lot of these drivers we saw kind of sitting in here were finishing that race. So some of these drivers may not have got as much test time as they probably wanted. And true, unlike other tracks where it's more physically demanding per se, as this is just more flat-footed, you do have to know about lining up draft, when the trail break, when to go full flat and whatnot. But in the technically demanding section, it's not as demanding, but it's still, you're losing valuable track time with draft and your teammates to try to figure out what you can and can't do. So we'll see if that affects any of these drivers here.
Another thing, and we talk about obviously that you have that aspect, but you also have the mental aspect. They just went through and they just watched 3 hours of the biggest race of the NASCAR season, and now it's our turn, right? There's nothing that gets you more pumped up than watching everything leading up to tonight. It's the same thing like with the Arrowhead 500 in May. Everything that leads up to it, all the pageantry that leads up to it, you start feeling that. You're part of the process at this point. All of the official races for the NIS series, all of the pageantry for the real life event over down in Florida, all of it takes root now, and all of that now has a weight attached to it. And until you start focusing on this race, until we get rolling, it's something that I think a lot of people now are going to be like, okay, that could be me in victory lane.
Yeah,
I can do that now, and that is going to be interesting to follow. Obviously, see how well everyone has their nerves in check tonight.
Oh, I could say the same thing when I ran the ABN Champ Car Brickyard 500 last season, and it didn't like hit you during the day, but then once about 2-3 hours before, you're like, oh, that's tonight. Oh, this is going to be interesting. And as the talk slowly slipped down, and you're sitting in pit lane, you're like, okay, I got to visualize. I can win this. You can't go into a defeatist mindset. You have to go out there and say, I can win this. I can get that car into victory lane. And before I stepped in, I was like, I think we got a top 10, top 15 car. And as soon as I got in that cockpit, I was like, all right, I can win this. Let's do this. And almost did. But regardless, it looks like warm-up is about finished, and we are going to get ready for the main show, the Manchilada, the Daytona 250 for ARCS coming up right now.
Here's what the starting grid looks like here at Daytona to kick off the season. Again, all of this that we're looking at on the screen right now, all determined by the duels last Sunday. We only have the top 10 rows determined by the duels here. So Matthew Leiter, front of the field. Josh Garrison, they qualified that way on time. They were locked in no matter what. That seems off.
Yeah, that's not right, because Bradley Wright won Heat 1 and also was the fastest.
Yeah, so this is not correct. That was based off of practice.
Yeah, I got it here.
There we go. We had to refresh it. We're good. Because that was based off of practice time. So Bradley Wright, Brandon Fetter plays front row. That was determined by the qualifying times. Emma Kruger in row 2 outside. Again, you see Line Pound Motorsports 2, 4, and 6 on the outside of the first 3 rows. Jack Mulkey inside row 2. Toby Estes inside row number 3. Josh Gaiman and Steven Oberstadt will share row number 4. Steven Oberstadt won last night. Josh Gaiman, 5-time race winner in this series last season. He'll start from pit lane. You saw him grid up deliberately after the timer elapsed, choosing to not be involved in any early shenanigans. That'll move the inside lane up. Austin Purnell, before the pit, obviously the pit lane choice, Austin Purnell would have started in row 5 alongside Josh Garrison, who was fastest in practice and final warm-up. Ryan Pinnell, Matthew Leiter in row number 6 as we sort of page on down the road here. David Wright, series rookie, made a couple starts last season, but he'll start alongside the defending series champion Jeremy Breo in row number 7. James Kerr, Elwish George, row 8. Row 9, the defending race winner Donald Ray for Presidential Racing, alongside his teammate Kevin Feemster. John Smeal will line up in row 10 alongside 2-time A-Squared Cup Series champion Seth Wansing. Dustin Painter, Thomas Andrews in row 11. Tommy Withers, Brendan Roberts, row number 12. Seth Wansing, a quick note for the number 9, our in-race porter for tonight's event. Final couple rows, Cody Riggs, Daniel Michelle in row 13. Alex Jimkowski, Tommy Reynolds in row 14. Richard Catania, the 29th car in this field, will round out this grid as we get ready to go. All the full-time cars are in here. It's time to get to it.
Yep. Pressure's on now.
Absolutely.
The one positive is most of these drivers, they have one fast repair in the tank, but obviously you don't want to use it on lap 1. So I do personally like some of the drivers starting the pit lane because they know I'd rather take the risk, maybe go lap 1 down early, because look, there's plenty of laps left, 100 laps. You can easily bounce back on that. So we'll see how this all plays out, but they're coming off 4 on the straight, and we're going to get ready to go.
Bradley Wright, Brandon Fetter Place, Jack Mulkey, and McCruger. The pace car is off, and the ARCS Daytona 250 is underway.
And it's a good start there from Bradley Wright. Joshua Garrison going to hang it to the out here. And we're going to see them 2 by 2 on the front. You can see a little bit of a de-separation there as the outside lane looks like, usually see that drivers will duck down, try to get to the inside lane to try to salvage places. And it looks like everyone's still trying to find their footing for the most part here. No real line supremacy for the most part. Inside those, looks like they got a lot more cars lined up, but the outside are quickly lined up more aggressively. So we're going to see how all shake up. But the question is, can that inside line get some more momentum here before the top 4 jump down? You got to see one car jumping down already. Likes the chances of the inside line. Going to cut off Bradley Wright, and almost thought he got spin there, but he keeps it straight. Ryan Pennell not happy with Bradley Wright there on the start. Luckily, the car is still pointing in the right direction at the very least.
Yeah, it could have been very ugly very quickly. Ryan Pennell will drop backwards. Bradley Wright was not willing to settle, but now both cars not in a good spot. And now everyone's taking note really early that 8 car you do not want to work with early on in this race. Ryan Pennell down to 11th now as it is spread out. And we saw this, obviously, comparing it to the real racing, comparing it to NIS races that have happened since Wednesday. It will spread out a little bit early on, and then you'll have to sort of accordion or slinky back together. We're obviously kind of working at this now. Watching Ryan Pennell try to work now behind the 27 of Jack Mulkey. Not ideal being this far in the pack, knowing that, you know, you're going to have to regroup here. What we're seeing here, a different strategy. Some teams working together, Mulkey and Breo working together here. Actually, no, they're not working together. Breo's in the outside lane. Only teams really working together right now that is line power, that are 1, 2, 3 at the moment.
Probably right in the wall. That's going to be a caution in the hard wall. It's going to take at least 4 or 5 machineries in there. And Bradley Wright, 2 incidences already, and he's going to have to come back limping to see what happens.
Over aggressive. We saw a driver was called on it a little bit, but was that Brendan Roberts? No, it is Bradley Wright that's backwards still. And they're still wrecking here.
Couple cars, yeah.
Not sure who that was. Looks like Tommy Withers was part of it. Number 23.
Yep, some of those cars are definitely heavily damaged. They're going to have to burn a fast repair. Other drivers may be able to get away with just repair.
Matthew Leiter will not be able to continue on. We'll have to tow back to pit lane. We'll immediately go a lap down early on here.
Only driver so far to tow.
So early troubles at Daytona. Bradley Wright involved.
I don't want to hammer too much on Bradley, but we made note of it, that saying that people in the back would have notes on Bradley right after that incident with Ryan Pennell. And now, bigger note right there. So people are going to keep an eye on that A.
Bradley Wright was leading the inside lane, so I wonder if it was a bad bump. Obviously, we'll take a look at it here in a second. But interesting to note there, just how uncanny it is that Ryan Pennell nearly got turned off of him. The 2 cars that wrecked after the fact, that was Tommy Withers and Matthew Leiter. So we'll look here at Bradley Wright, and we're going to need to figure this out in a hurry.
Yep.
So this is Steven Overstat in the 47. Does Bradley Wright get pinched?
Looks like Overstat was going to get split here. He was kind of slowed down. They were going to try to sucker hole him.
Ooh, hard hit.
Yeah. I may have to get a look at that, but either Wright came up or just maybe try to clear there quickly.
Trying to see what happens to Withers here. Obviously, this is the second part of the accident.
Yeah, it was after the caution. I think he just got ran over. Yep. And then
Yeah, by Josh. That's odd. Josh Gaiman shouldn't be going that fast to begin with, I don't think.
Yeah, and then try to save it, and it just happened to be a car on the inside.
And there is damage to that 23.
Mm-hmm.
So Steven Oberstadt involved in this, and we get the privilege of going on board. I should take the roof cam here for Steven Oberstadt. We'll back it up just a little bit, because you see he gets freight trained here.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of plays a tune. So we'll go back down back about half the back straightaway.
Just trying to make that inside line work. Chugging along. And then you can see the outside lines more organized. You can see car there,
There's
not
Garrison.
able to really... Yep, Garrison then bails on him, leaving him alone. And then here comes the inside line in a hurry. See, Pinnell jumps up, or well, the other Presidential Racing Machine, 22, pulls up, and then Bryler comes in, take the hole, and oof. Just an odd situation.
That car struggling to get going.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you're going to watch a bunch of cars. Like, yeah, I don't know why they're flying as quick as they were there.
You can see Bryler Wright still pinned the wall, and then you can see the incident on the inside there.
Brother, I had to use a patch repair, as did a couple others.
That is something else to keep knowing. I just heard Thrice remember as we do watch, as we got the one to go here. But there is the choose call rule in effect, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, especially late race, where we'll see drivers kind of go low below the yellow line if they want to go inside, and kind of stay on the track if they want to go high side. And we'll see to see how that plays out. But right now, it's going to be Feather Place leading the way with Eldridge George, first car on the inside, followed by Kruger, Garrison. Actually, that is Garrison. In the next row.
Teammates working together here. Brandon Feather Place, the race leader, will control the restart here. And McKruger will be behind Fetter Place, so Line Power Motorsport sitting first and third, technically.
Mm-hmm. Well, the George is going to help from Jack Mulkey.
For those tuning in, appreciate you spending your Sunday evening with us here on ABN. First caution of the race for an incident involving Steven Oberstadt, Brother Wright, and others. Pace car back in. Green flag back out, and away we are going once again at Daytona. Really good jump by Fetter Place. And Kruger's going to be able to follow suit pretty easily there.
Yep, they're going to tow on down here, presumably if they want. They'll have free choice of lane. If they want to go low, they will have the option. Only problem is it's good for now, but it's going to be a bit of a sucker hole late in race where there's going to get a big draft and catch back up to you quickly. But right now, it looks like they're going to stay high. Question is, can Alfred's George lead the inside pack here with Jack Mulkey to try to make something happen here to get that low line some momentum?
They're going to work on it. Right now, that outside lane's where you kind of want to be. We saw them make the outside work in the duels last Sunday. And they're saying, yeah, we'll stick with that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the trouble that we saw in that first caution started with the inside lane.
Sometimes you got to try what works. You know what you know, and you know what you know from the duels.
Top four, Fetter Place, Kruger, Garrison, and Austin Purnell. Series rookie there. You see Cody Riggs in the 3. Dow Industrial, black and white, number 3. Fifth in line on the outside lane, inside lane, even less hooked up.
Yep.
Seth Wanzing, keep an eye on that 9 car. That 9 car on the inside. Now behind, I believe that is Thomas Andrews.
Correct. Thomas Andrews jumped down there on the inside line there to try to help get the charge. But you can look at that inside line. There's no support there. And they're going the wrong way quickly. And it's kind of risk where you see another car there jump down there to try to make that inside line work. And it's just going to be a situation we're going to see as that line kind of momentumly picks up. Few cars may elect to jump down there to try to lead that train, as right now the leader is now going to be the 2 with Donald Ray. And the question is, well, maybe Oscar Pinnell, Joshua Garrison, Emma Kruger probably won't jump because her teammate is in front of her. But regardless, maybe you see Garrison or Pinnell maybe take the leap, but that inside line gets some more momentum. Outside line looking to try to get hooked up and quick, but right now it's still just Donald Ray leading the inside, but no assistance. There are reports that 29 may be having some slight connectivity issues, so we have to keep an eye on him and see what race control may elect to do here.
Outside lane, the dominant lane so far. Inside lane, next to no help. 3 of the 4 presidential racing machines on that inside lane. The 22 Elrich George, the 2 of Donald Ray, the defending race winner, leading the line. And I believe that is Ryan Pinnell, the 12. Indeed it is. Going on board with Seth Wansing. 2-time series champion.
And he's got 2 presidential racing machines in front of him.
Don't believe Thomas Andrews is. I don't believe he's presidential.
Oh, yeah, no. You're correct. I was thinking, slight mistake there, because I saw 12 and mixed up my colors there. But regardless, mixed up jumbled line on the inside.
They're beginning to make some ground. They're catching up to Fetter Place. I believe that is Donald Ray, level with Emma Kruger. As you're right on board with Seth Wansing.
Ooh, Kruger not able to stay really connected there. That's going to allow that Donald Ray to kind of get ahead here, and that outside line lost momentum. Looks like this is going to be the lap Donald Ray leads. And Thomas Anders out in second, too. So you have inside line takes the prevailing, and they'll lead that lap with Donald Ray. Question is now, as you can see, got a little check up on the outside. We're still riding a Seth Wansing here. Maybe wants to try to get possibly clear here and kind of control his own fate here, but he's not clear enough of that 34. Could make the risk if he wants to go up now if he so chooses, if there's a stack up, but that hole closes quickly. No, it's still kind of open, never mind. But he thinks he wants to stay where he knows right now. No reason to make any aggressive moves this early in the race. Across the line again, Donald Ray is going to lead another lap here as Line Power Racing looked all smiles there, but now trying to find something to get back up towards the front. Reversal of fortune, if you will, from the high to low line. And we did see this during the duels as well. Inside line was kind of the stronger lane, and once 4 or 5 cars kind of get hooked up, they can really just kind of push and get themselves a little bit more clear on the inside. You can see Brent Roberts going to try to make a move to the high side here, try to give that high line some reprieve, because he knows he's like 5-6 cars deep on the inside. Why not try to go to the outside and see what you can do?
Everyone trying to figure out early. This is the first time we've had this many cars on track here at Daytona for the A-Square Cup Series season. And again, not many of them were in the Truck Series race last night. So everyone trying to feel out this process. Stage 1 ends on lap 30. 30-60 are the stage breaks in tonight's event. Outside lane, 5 cars. Josh Garrison not happy with the handling of the number 18 car. You saw him wobble into turn 1. This is the main pack. There is 18 cars in this pack.
And yep, and then a little bit further back, you got the second pack there. You can't really see them in the shot, but they are about, well, I should time swings a little bit, 3 seconds back of the next pack in question. And they're just kind of hanging out here. Again, with stages, it's a risk-reward situation. And some of those drivers weren't involved in that last accident, so they know they burned through the fast repairs, no reason to go up there and race. And next thing you know, you're out of this race. So they're going to kind of tick back there and let these 18 cars fight for stage points, because it's a long calendar ahead. And for most of these drivers, they know they can probably get stage points relatively easy because they're all pretty talented. It's just the question mark of what's the risk-reward situation.
Seth Wansing has made his way to the front of the field with the help of Bren Roberts. Teammates there for Sunday Money Racing. Fetter Place not happy now, third in line. Seems like the further you are in line at the top, the more unstable it gets. Fetter Place trying to find that happy balance. And the number 34 machine, it'll be Chevrolet at the front once again. Chevrolet's first and second, Toyota's third and fourth. Donald Ray moved from the Chevrolet that he raced last season to the Ford of the number 2 that he's in right now. Trying to win with 2 different manufacturers.
It was a bit of a smart move by Bren Roberts. Saw an opportunity to go to the high side. Now he's up there, second car in the high line. So he's kind of made that move work, and track position is key, especially late in the going. And some drivers know how to carve the way up for the field, others not so much. And that's kind of what you have to do. When you see an opportunity, sometimes you got to take a risk. The only question is, will anyone go with you when that time comes? As we're coming to lap 17, it's going to be another lap led by Seth Wansing. Put another one to his tally. But inside line, going to probably get a little bit more momentum as they're starting to slowly chip away on Kruger's corner panel. But will they get? They'll definitely get there before the stage ends. The question is, will anyone jump down in front of Donald Ray?
Kevin Feenstra lost the draft here. He'll drop back to that second group. 17 cars in this main pack. 29 started this race.
Ooh, you can see line power get a little bit greedy here. They want to lead this train.
Garrison following suit in the number 18.
Garrison has no legions, but kind of wants to go to the front. Feels like they're slightly faster. Donald Ray jumps to the outside. So a bit of a switch of fortune there as Donald Ray on the inside lane now leads to the outside, and Feather Place, who was third car on the outside, now goes to the inside. And they're going to have the train here on Wansing. Pretty much 2x2x2, but it looks like definitely going to be Feather Place going to get clear. And you know for a fact he's going to go, not going to go up till Kruger gets clear as well. And you can see, car there, 22. Kind of gets a little squirrely on the inside. He's going to have to chuck down there. And that's going to kill the inside momentum. Donald Ray jumps back down. Kruger goes high, as along with Brendan Feather plays aggressive move there, slowing the inside line, losing momentum.
Wow.
But it looks like
look at Garrison.
Smart choice.
Yeah, Garrison moved to the front there.
Wansing on radio said a little late with that. Shows it was a little bit of an aggressive move there. Coming up, he had to get on the brakes. They all keep it straight, and we keep it green. You see him come off turn 2 here. Inside line got a lot more volume in their line here. Oh, Feather Place touches Garrison. Feather Place gets a little loose off corner. They door to door. And
watch out.
And Kruger.
Everyone trying to find space. Everyone trying to check up the best they can. Oh, they're still trying. Tom Sears. And there they go. Oh, hard hit.
By Alfred George. Big lick. And that easily can happen if you ran, and this will be the end of the stage, by the way, so stage over. But back to the point, as we saw earlier in that situation, if you ran host races,
the end of the stage was 30.
They just said end of stage there, at least what I heard from race control.
Interesting.
But back to my point, though. If you did host race or if you did the Daytona 500 during this week, that car can get a little kicky, especially on the outside, especially on worn tires. Especially late in a run, you could be trying to hold it on the outside. Next thing that car gets a little squirrely. And right there you saw with Feather Place, got a little kicked out. Luckily, the saving grace was Garrison who kept him straight, but then that checkup caused more pandemonium between the 70 of Kruger and the 5 of Andrews, and eventually it trickled down to Sears, who just couldn't save it, and collected Alfred George along with a few other vehicles.
So I was incorrect. It is 20 and 40 the stage breaks.
Okay.
That's something that changed from last year. Last year was 30 and 60. So we're gonna have a 60 lap stage 3.
Because of the stage break, almost everyone's going to come in here. The question is, what will be the alternating strategies here? Will some take 4, some take 2? Will some try fuel only? We'll have to wait and see on this one. Because track position, you want sometimes, because going track position here aggressive could be good, but the problem is you take fuel only, you get it now, but the downside is you're going to have to hang on some loose, wobbly race car with old tires for another 20 laps till the next stage break, and then bite the bullet later. But if you go fuel only, you're going for stage points now. If you take tires, you may be trying to go for the end of the race, possibly.
For those tuning in, we appreciate you spending your Sunday evening with us here on ABN. On your screen, bottom right, social links. Obviously, you're watching this probably on Twitch, our broadcast network. Follow us on Twitter, esports on ABN. And then we have our own website where you can also watch this race. Concurrent coverage alongside with our Twitch channel. For those unfamiliar with our coverage, I'm Carmen Hardy, alongside me Kevin Young. Kevin Young, expertise in oval racing. Over 75 stock car starts across his iRacing career, as well as several champ car starts, including last year's Arrowhead 500. We get to race against each other this year once the season starts on March 9th.
I love how your list of accomplishments looks a lot more impressive than mine. Mine just starts while you got a Daytona 24-hour win, and also...
I created that graphic, and I was just like, I need 2 bullet points for each of us, and I'm just like, I don't know what your stats are, I just know that you've done a lot of both. So I was like, I'm just kind of, because I'm working on it, and I'm sitting here, because for those that don't, we'll kind of say this behind the scenes while everyone kind of gets underway in stage 1. We'll talk to Seth Wansing under the next caution break. We have these production details that we're working on. Obviously, I was working on like the numbers and everything, getting everything looking right, and I was like, well, it'd be nice having a little graphic for us, right? We see the graphics for the drivers all the time. It'd be nice to kind of introduce everyone who we are. And I was like, okay, well, what kind of go this? I do champ car stuff. That's my whole shtick. I've won Daytona and the 24. That's about it. And I was like, okay.
Like, you couldn't give me my fastest lap at Kentucky in champ car. I think they have the track record there.
Honestly, I forgot that you have the track record there. Yeah, you do.
I mean, or at least, the very least, if we can go, like, take a throwback here to, like, that old reality TV show Next. Like, can you give me, like, random fun facts?
Honestly, I was just kind of experimenting with it, so I appreciate everyone tuning in and kind of dealing with the antics. Obviously, stage 1 is over. Brandon Federer plays Josh Garrison outside row 1 and 2. Inside row is David Wright. So that's going to be interesting. That number 42 machine, see what he can do at the front of the field. Behind him will be Donald Ray. For those that kind of unfamiliar with this, so a lot of things have been different between the 3 races we've had at Daytona this week. All of them have been 100 laps each. So we'll have broadcasted 300 laps and 750 miles here at Daytona by the time it's all said and done. Choose cone. The only time we ever see the choose cone where you can choose either go high lane or low lane, the only time you see that is in this series. Only time you see stages is in this series on Saturday night. We had 1 stage last night that didn't award points. We have 3 stages in this series, and all 3 stages award points. So there's a big difference there. You see a lot of cars on the inside lane chose to be that way. That's going to be interesting. See how that adds up. See who stays there. Green flag back in the air. The beginning of stage 2 is underway. Federer place once again. Good start.
Only thing worth noting is Federer Place and Kruger, they were lined up for most of this race, and now they got a car in between. It's Joshua Garrison. So question
They've
is...
been working together, though.
True.
Garrison's stuck with them. Now, obviously, you're not going to bank on that, and obviously right now it's not helping a lot because David Wright's being pushed to the moon by Donald Ray and Thomas Andrews. I thought Thomas Andrews was in the 5. He's in the 43 for this race.
Yeah. Bit of a I wouldn't say trading pains, but a sim snap number issue there. But regardless, high side, yeah, definitely lost a lot of momentum there. As the 5 jumps out, Thomas Andrews trying to give that train some momentum. Joshua Garrison, you can see also just in the distance, trying to decide whether he wants to go high or low. Looks like he's going to bank on the low line. You can see Brent Roberts thinks he can lead that train at the top, but another car dumps away. Well, tries to and will get down to the inside. So every time they get one car on that high line, another car elects to jump back to the bottom. And that is no bueno if you're on the high side.
Top 3, David Wright, Donald Wright, Alex Shimkowski. Shimkowski, pole sitter for the Pocono race we had in Champ Car last year. Known mostly for his open wheel antics, but he's also really good in these stock car machines. Moving up to the top lane in front of Brendan Roberts. Chimkowski's another line power car. So there's 3 in that outside lane now with Fetter Place and Kruger. And Tom Sears up there too. All 4 of them are up there.
Yeah.
And they're moving now. Chimkowski led that lap.
But Bren Roberts going to try to steal it here.
Bad bump by David Wright.
Yep.
And that gives Bren Roberts the lead.
Ooh, Kruger got a little squirrely in the back there as well. That's going to unlink Garrison and Kruger there. And kill the momentum on the outside. You can see there goes the 5 down along with Bren Roberts. They're going to check into the bottom here. And that just one little mistake there caused enough separation that Roberts and Andrews had to single the bell and jump to the bottom. And now David Wright going to go to the high side and going to take the spot of those 2 and try to get back to the front that way. Donald Ray checking up as well, going to the high side.
And we saw this a lot last night too. A lot of uncertain moves being made. Like, drivers will step out a little bit, but they're not sure. There's not a lot of confidence in the moves that they're making right now. And obviously that's part of the discovery phase. A lot of rookies in this field. You look at Kruger, you look at Fetter Place, you look at David Wright, you look at Austin Purnell. A lot of rookies in this field and a lot of veterans in this field. Are you surprised that they're being this aggressive this early on? We are at the beginning of stage 2, and the big points aren't offered until lap 100.
You could say that, but we saw during the real-life race as well, drivers want to be aggressive stage points because it's something that we saw during the opening where a lot of these drivers were drafted. It's not a series you can just enter. Oh, we see a slight mistake there. I'll have to hold that thought. Luckily, they'll come back in line, but they're definitely going to lose a little bit of time here.
Chimkowski was one of them.
Still can't get in. Chimkowski.
He'll get in right before turn 1.
Yeah, luckily.
Yeah.
Just another bad bump there, and that's going to affect 2 cars. But to finish my point, with the draft, you get the creme of the creme. These are the best drivers in the ARCS community that are here tonight racing and in this series as well. So even though these drivers have the talent usually to get stage points, with all these drivers being so pretty good, it's a point where it's hard to get stage points. So, and especially at a track like here where it's very easy to kind of jostle it up and take a risk to get some stage points, you never know when we get to the playoff time right near the cutoff line and a driver really needs a couple stage points to help them out either going into the playoffs or at the cutoff race. You never know when a few, like finishing 5th instead of 7th, will come crucial. So I get the aggression because stage points are going to be a bit hard to come by.
Bradley Wright leading the inside lane. Brendan Roberts used that help to get to the outside lane and bailed. Bradley Wright, everyone obviously still keeping an eye on that number 8 car to what happened early on in this race. Obviously, we're on 28, but a lot of memories. Like, remember, it's a lot of memories to a point. Once you get to next week, it's gone. Yeah. But right now, you're remembering that like it is duct taped to your face.
Well, you may keep a note on it when we end up going to Talladega or Atlanta. Then you'll probably keep that in the back of your mind as well. But yeah, like you said, next week at Auto Club, completely out water on the bridge unless you really anger the driver in question. But we see a move there for the inside. Brendan Roberts going to get split by Donald Ray, but Donald Ray going to have no real help as Wright's going to get back to the bumper. Actually, I was going to say Wright was going to get back to the Roberts, but the other way around. Donald Ray going to get some assistance here from Smeal, and the inside line going to lock up here, and it's going to be Donald Ray taking that inside line command. Now the high side getting some momentum back, and they're basically 2 abreast all the way back, and there goes Donald Ray checking out of here. Does not feel comfortable.
Well, yeah, he got 3 wide behind him. That's Emma Kruger stuck in the middle 3 wide.
For a rookie, that is not where you want to be.
No, it really is not. Emma Kruger still learning a lot on the ovals. Obviously won a champ course at Homestead, but turned around and failed to finish at Indianapolis for the 2nd time in a row. So ovals still something that Emma's still very much getting used to. The Belgian-born driver, a road course ace, no doubt about her prowess on road courses, but being forced 3 wide this early on, it's a spooky thing even late into the race when your pedals are the metal and you're not lifting. This early on, when that's not your intent, it is one of the scariest situations you can be in, and she did a really good job of just backing out of that, getting out of the way, and letting everything settle back in. Fantastic work by Kruger, and obviously a lot of her team around her in that point. Fetter Place, Sears, Zimkowski, all working on that to try to get everything safe and sound here. Bren Roberts battling for the lead with John Smeal. John Smeal will lead a lap at Daytona, his first lap led in almost a year.
And yeah, I just want to finish that point on Kruger real fast, is that even as a veteran, has done many, many plate races and many, many races, that middle is even scary as a veteran. It is right in the certain situations. But luckily, all these teams are in their own little chats, talking it out, understanding where they come from. And I think there's a chance, I know Kruger usually has Sharp with her spotting.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she's here there today or not. But regardless.
Lily Potier Sharp is there, yeah.
Okay. So that's good relying voice in the ear to let you calm you down, especially when you're getting sucker holds.
Bren Roberts leads the outside lane. John Smeal leads the inside lane. Smeal led the last lap. Roberts will lead this lap. The Black Coca-Cola machine leads lap 31. All 29 cars still in this race.
Feels like this race is flying by.
It really is.
But like you said, once we get to that last stage, friendships kind of checked at the door, gloves are coming off.
I don't think so. I think actually, with how the stages are this year with this race, obviously last year as Garrison cleared himself to get back to the outside lane. Interesting call there. You won't get away with that later on. Stage 3, you have to settle down a little bit because you will have green flag pit stops in that stage. Stage 3, 60 laps long this year. It was 40 last year.
And we saw it from the heat races. Heat 2 is a good example. I think Heat 1, there were green flag pit stops, but since it was so spaced, it really didn't matter. But in Heat 2, we saw with Line Power's question, we saw Joshua Garrison, he got busted for speeding. Tom Sears got busted for speeding in Heat 2 as well. A couple drivers are looking great. And even though they technically did recover well, Tom Sears started P6, so he finished third in his own heat. It still shows he could have won the heat if he ended up not speeding. So it's a lost element. I said it a lot during the Champ Car broadcast. I said a lot, probably going to say it a lot during the season. But pit road entry is important because you don't want to lose too much time and cough it up. But the same bane of existence, if you go too fast, the barriers are going to come on. And
Watch out! Bradley Wright just tagged the wall. Everyone doing a really good job avoiding him.
Bradley Wright taps it lightly. It looks like it's probably fine. These cars can take a bit of a beating, but there is a limit. Eventually, when you hit it enough times.
That's, I guess, the important thing to kind of point out. If it's a flush hit, you're good. If your car's turning, like if you're in the middle of a corner and you tag the wall, it will break the toe link in whatever part of the car you hit it with. But it looked flush, which is fortunate. But obviously, Emma kind of fall backwards here. Made a pass below the yellow line. So the 70 will drop behind. That is the 18 of Garrison. And now in danger of possibly losing the draft. Dustin Painter, through all the chaos, now the race leader. Dirt racing expert. Short track expert. Put him on a shorter track with a super late model or a modified or a wing sprint car in dirt. He can drive it. But now he's leading Seth Wansing and Daniel Michel at the front of the field. Painter up 20 spots, Wansing up 18, Michelle up 23. Biggest gainer right now, though, Richie Catania, the 24, up 24 positions with coming to 5 laps to go in stage 2.
Dustin Painter right now is kind of getting, Daniel Michael, give me kind of vibes here of Greg Van Alst, the winner of the ARCA winner last Saturday, and the Daytona. Very good short track driver for dirt racing as well. Came to the plate race and ended up taking the win. And to quote his own line, usually something that those drivers don't usually do. And leading this train is quite good for his confidence right now as that inside line is still going. But you can see Bren Roberts chewing around the outside along with help from Joshua Garrison as they're going to try to get that high line going because every stage point matters per se. Even though it's 1 point, again, at season's end, you never know when you need it. You'll see a car jump to that high side and they're going to catch a lap car. Lap car going to fight here. Maybe try to pull an Allmendinger from real life. Cars get squirrely on the inside there. They're going to try to check. It's going to check up that inside line quite dramatically here as they're going to squeal. He's going to pull off quickly. Luckily not going to get rear-ended but definitely hurt that inside line.
Yeah.
As someone had to take evasive action.
Dustin Painter working both lanes. I saw that earlier. Went from the bottom to the top, trying to work both lanes. Staying with Seth Wansing now. Brendan Roberts gets to the outside. Yeah, the race for stage points.
Yeah, they're racing hard. Probably like hand out the window, but that's further back. Meanwhile, while we're watching this, you can see that in the distance. That's train 2 right there, led by the 74 of our current champion. Blanking his name, Jeremy Breo, who's leading that second train right there, not caring about stage points. They think they can make it up wherever they want. They want the trophy, not the stage points. Coming around, we're coming to 3 to go here in the stage. Led by Painter. Roberts trying to take that inside line, make something happen. Painter leads the lap, but here comes Robert and Gaiman.
3 laps to go in stage 2. Painter leads the inside. Roberts on the outside lane. Josh Gaiman on the outside lane. That 61 machine for B-Tron Racing. 32 Austin Purnell is also in the mix. There's lap traffic ahead.
Yep. They're going to catch one.
Really a really good push by Wansing and Michelle. Michelle moves the outside lane. Painter. 2 laps to go in stage 2. Leading the way. Dustin Painter was really deprived of race wins last year. A lot of bad luck came his way in the number 65 machine. New team, new effort. Prophecy Motorsports. Happy to have him on board, and right now he's leading the way, but Daniel Michel trying to impress as a rookie in the number 25 machine. What's he got in number 25? Brendan Roberts willing to help at the moment. But how much do you keep helping knowing that you've got lap traffic ahead?
Yep. They're going to catch him. They're catching him at a quick rate.
See how
it's
wobbly that traffic is. Michelle got moved to the bottom. Not sure if that was voluntary or not. Brendan Roberts.
Not gonna pull off like the previous lap car. Gonna try to hang it on, trying to get the lap back because he is fighting in the traffic.
That is the 22 of Everest George.
Took that hard lick under the previous caution. 1 to go on the stage. As you know, with 2 to go, the pit lane is closed, and you can see a big move to the inside there, trying to make something happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that move by Jack Mulkey. It just I don't think you've got enough, and they're gonna try it. There's David Wright, inside line, starting to move. Brendan Roberts moves to the inside. Josh Gaiman left to the outside. Now Brendan Roberts, you can't have your cake and eat it too. In the middle, 3 wide.
Oh.
This is for stage 2. Watch out! That's Garrison. Kruger's in the wall.
Straight. Nope, they're gonna go around. That's gonna be
everyone wrecked.
Oh, hard for the stage.
Everyone did. Tom Sears gets the stage points. 10 points for Sears. Gaiman, 2nd place. Purnell, I think, ends up 3rd in that.
Yep. Ooh.
Racing to the end of stage 2, and everyone got loose.
Tom Sears feeling like Austin Dillon right there, looking in the mirror, only car left, as everyone else is checking up or going the wrong way around. Luckily, I think a majority of those cars, light damage to no real major hits I've seen. So, majority of them still going to be okay. Definitely going to make it through, but that was a hair-raising moment. Brendan Roberts was leading the train. Next thing you know, he got basically overthrown, ousted, and was falling down the order.
And I said this earlier, a lot of moves lacking confidence in these early opening stages. And that's what that was. He went to make a block, but he wasn't confident in it. So he immediately kind of in that hesitation, it left him in the middle of the racetrack, and no one's going to go with him at that point.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to, with stock car racing, you have to have that confidence. You have to be firm in your moves, and it wasn't there. And obviously, we'll take a look at it here as just about the entire field to come down pit lane.
Yeah.
For one reason or another, either you scrub the tires or you've got a little bit of damage that needs to be buffed out. But that was going to come into pit lane. We're going to look at how that cautions really all came about. So, and obviously, we're already on it right now.
Yeah.
So, like, this is coming down the back straightaway. And, again, we'll look here. We'll look at Brendan Roberts. Again, so Bryn Roberts, he's going to make this move here. Keep it on that car at the very front, the very bottom of the screen.
Sees the momentum on the inside line.
We're going to slow it down here. He makes this block, leaves Gaiman hanging out to dry. That's fine. Tom Sears moves back up. He reads it, and he read it really well.
Perfectly. Saw the open hole.
Bryn Roberts tried to play both lanes and ended up being stuck in the middle because Purnell's not going to leave that yellow line. He makes the mistake of doing that, and now he knows that he's stuck.
Yeah. He's a boat anchor. He's basically going backwards.
He genuinely is. So now he's going to try to block again. And it's interesting because he got mad about this move being done at Atlanta last year. So for him to go and kind of make that move, Garrison tries to make it 4 wide. Roberts didn't do anything wrong on that one. Garrison just tried shooting a hole that doesn't exist.
Then Garrison saves. You see Joshua Gaiman as well gets a little loose on his own accord.
The net code there between the 80 and the 70 is rough. That is brutal. And then obviously Bryn Roberts, at this point, you're boxed in, nowhere to go. Mulkey gets a piece of it. Look at Tom Sears. Tom Sears with that drift. Austin Purnell trying to avoid it as much as he can. He gets tagged by Josh Gaiman there. And you see there, the biggest hit, I think, mostly is that, I think that's the 3 car of Cody Riggs.
I don't think that is Cody. Maybe it is Cody Riggs. I think he was in a slightly different scheme. And then see a late incident there with just in the back there, Gaiman just saving it down all the way. And he finally gets it right, but he has to use that red and yellow car there as a bit of a
Austin Purnell. There's John Smeal. There's Seth Wansing. That's a car still rolling backwards. I think that is, if I look at that correctly, that is Cody Riggs.
Yeah, that's the car that was sideways. That is Cody Riggs. You are correct. He was the one got probably the hardest lick there.
Yeah.
Even then, look awful. But you never know with these cars. They take quite a beating, and you think they're fine. Next thing you bring them down the pit lane, that's 6 minutes of required and 2 minutes of optional. Anyway, Choose was just in effect there. Gaiman and Sears took 4 tires on that point. What's worth noting is Tommy Reynolds, only a 7-minute stop, so he did end up taking only left sides or right sides. Everyone else, though, elected to take 4 tires for the most part, so he's the only one in that top 18 that tried a slightly different strategy and won a track position.
Josh Gaiman on the outside lane, Tom Sears inside lane. Tommy Reynolds, haven't said his name at all this race. He's emerging here at the beginning of stage 3. Jimkowski, Kruger, Breo, Purnell, Andrews, Purnell, Fetter Place, top 10. For those just now tuning in, I'm Carmen Hardy alongside me, Kevin Young. About 57 laps to go here in the ARCS Daytona 250. 2 cautions. Well, actually 3 cautions, excuse me. We had 2 cautions in stage 1. But here we go. Where all the marbles, this is where all the big points start being determined here. Pace car is in. And away we go. Green flag back in the air. Gaiman leads.
Yeah, no help, though. He's going to try to clear Sears as quick as he can.
Jimkowski deliberately hung back there. Line power. Line power worked there because Sears now has the lead over Reynolds. Reynolds racing for Bandit Racing. Jimkowski racing for line power. Jimkowski was not about to help the B-Tron racing duo of Gaiman and Breo.
Yep, inside line got Sears, Reynolds, and Purnell. But Gaiman now finally back up the speed a little bit here. But like you said, hanging back did cost him, but it was a lesser of 2 evils, basically, situation. Help the team or help your own self. And helping the team helps your job security, because at the end of 12 races, some underperforming drivers may get dropped from the team. So something you can maybe bring to the bargaining table when it comes up the question if he wants to stay or not.
Drivers start out with 12 race contracts. Obviously, the season is 36 races. So after those first 12 races, you can start kind of moving around your roster. Obviously, a lot of drivers in the Saturday Night Showdown series on Saturday nights. Some drivers racing on Thursday Night Thunder. Some drivers that'll be racing in Champ Car will be eligible. Friday Night Ignition series. A lot of drivers able to be selected from once those 12 races are up. A lot of drivers trying to put their names in that hat. Right now, Tom Sears leads the way. Tommy Reynolds, Ryan Purnell up in 3rd place, continuing his momentum. as he finds his teammate there, Donald Ray, at the top lane. They're going to try to go through the front.
Yep. Manel wants to go front here. Early on, he had that incident with Briley Wright, and after that, he played it conservative. Now he wants to be up front. He wants to control the table, wants to be head of the table, and he's got help from his Presidential Racing car behind. Number 2 with Donald Ray, who's been up here for the most part. And they're going to try to charge it outside. They are going to catch 2 cars here, the 83 and the 75. Looks like they didn't get going right away off start. That is Matthew Leiter and the 75 of James Kerr. They're going to catch him quite quick. Probably in a lap or 2. You're going to see those 2 cars come in screen. But outside line now getting the momentum, the 2 Presidential Racing cars. And you can also see a car there, 4th in line. Current defending champion, the 74, Jeremy Braille, was laying back for most of this race. He now thinks it's go time. He's going to head to the front. And Ryan Pinella going to lead that lap. And Donald Ray almost clears Sears, gives him a little pitch. And there they go. Sears, Gaiman, keep it straight. There's another car, Kruger, I think, around.
Kruger, yeah.
Sears,
Kruger got slid sideways and a little bit of contact there. And they were trying to lock it down. Kruger, everyone was on the brakes there just trying to make something happen. Donald Ray tried clearing himself.
Oof.
4th caution of the night.
And kick the hornet's nest a little bit more there.
And that bailed out the drivers that are about to get lapped here. Obviously, you're looking here. This is the 83 of Matthew Leiter.
Yep, the 75 of Kerr and the 83 of Matthew Leiter. So we're seeing the 85 there. That's 83.
Yeah.
Remember, Leiter was involved in that opening incident and just trying to chug along here. He's back on the lead lap, stay on the lead lap. So, a bit of a saving grace. James Kerr, though, is 2 down, so not much of a saving grace in his regard.
So here's what happened to cause the accident, and this is the exact angle we were looking at. You see Donald Ray, number 2 car on that outside lane.
Trying to clear himself, wants to get down possibly with the 12. You can see the 12's thinking about going down Way lane. Donald Ray thinks he's good, and just not good. And gives just enough of a pinch to the 14. 14 tries to save it, coming back up. Gets a little help from the rear, and then Joshua Game in there. And then basically pandemonium on behind because that little checkup caused more cars.
Austin Fernell nearly got collected in that. That was a wild one. And obviously, Emma Kruger gets tagged there by Bradley Wright. Kruger immediately locks it down. You see the front tires are, both the front and rear tires are completely locked here. Wanzing avoids it pretty well there.
At this point, you're just hoping no one hits you. And sadly, you'll see a car coming up here. Oh, no, she lets go the brake and boom. She held it. She probably would have been fine, but little let go and just basically shot herself up through the line. Take another look here as we'll ride him with Kruger. Runs the back of Sipkowski, gets a little hooked, and then tabs right, and then just a passenger at this point. Meanwhile, we'll see the end results of the pit stops here. Every driver looks like they came in either topped off or took 2 tires.
Well, we're out of here. We're going to see if we can talk to our in-race reporter, Seth Wanzing, here in just a second. Hear what he has to say. He avoided all of that. He's going to be restarting this race in 11th place, so give us a second.
Had the best seat in the house.
Absolutely best seat in the house. Seth, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
Alrighty, that was a close one. Obviously, we're in the middle of stage 3. It's been a bit of a wild one. You've made your way up from 22nd. You're in 11th right now. How's the race going for you so far? How's the race going for the team so far?
We got 3 really fast Sunday Monday race cars, and I got a really fast number 9 Midwest Barbecue 213 Simware Chevy. Led some laps, been a really good pusher, Carmen. Just on that last caution before this one, did a really good job avoiding the chaos, and then I guess people didn't speak up and get back, so got to hold for that. It is what it is, but I think we got something that we can contend with here. Brandon, Daniel do as well, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens here. I think I got a winning car. Just stay out of the melee and keep working the draft. But hope I'm putting on a show, and everybody else hope we're putting on a show for the people at home. I'm sure I've been through in some close ones on some wrecks, but yeah, hoping to get up there and back where this thing needs to be, and try to put myself in a place to win the race.
Well, right now you're doing a good job. Obviously, we'll hopefully talk to you in an even better spot on the podium or in victory lane tonight. But Seth, good luck, and we'll be watching up here.
Thank you, Carmen.
That is Seth Wansing, one of the 3 Sunday Money racing cars in the field as we get ready to go back at it. Seth, obviously, pretty happy with where he's at. Obviously, Daniel Michel, we've seen him up front in the 25. Britton Roberts has been up front most of this race with the number 1 machine. But now they got a little bit of work to do on this restart.
Mm-hmm. At the halfway point, plenty of time to work your way up. But, yeah, you're definitely you want to be probably leading at any point. But it could be worse. Could be a lot worse.
Ryan Pennell leads the way. It'll be Ryan Pennell and Jeremy Breo, former teammates in this series. Used to be a part of Team Sideswipe. Now they're team owners on separate teams. Still wearing the Ford brand. Top 4 all Fords. But they're going to be racing tooth and nail here. Ryan Pennell, after technical issues plaguing him the last couple years, we're looking on board right at the back of his teammate there. That's Donald Ray behind him. Green flags back out, and away we go.
Mm-hmm. That's another racing. Going to try to take off where they were at the last caution here. Try to make that inside line key here. And right now, again, they're pretty good. Outside line really has no connection point here. Breo's kind of sitting duck. Tommy Reynolds finally going to get caught up here to the back, but President isn't going to get hooked up here, bumper to bumper, and make the push happen. And they're going to see right behind the 32 of Austin Pennell as well, trying to help them out here. Now you can see that outside line starting to boogie a little bit. Breo getting real help there from Tommy Reynolds, along with Joshua Garrison there. Feather Place, my mistake. Pushed into the front, basically 2x2x2. Question is, can Pennell clear here on lead this lap? Looks like he's pretty good to do so here, and he will end up leading this lap here. So put 1 lap in Jeremy Breo's pocket here for leading one.
Outside lane, when it gets hooked up, can be hard to beat. It seems a little bit, it seems there's a little bit tighter on the inside lane though. Right now, as it sits, 5 rows of 2. A little bit of a latency blink there. I believe that was by, John Smeal.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it is John Smeal. A little bit closer look there. As we look from the blimp cam, Breo and Reynolds move to the bottom. Better place. Teammates there with the 34 and the 99, but now they have even less help. And that inside lane's going to move. Similar to what we saw in the real life 500 earlier today. When that inside line is the place to be, ain't nowhere else going to work.
Yeah. Back in the old days of the Gen 6, you could make the high line work, and you definitely could, but with these cars now, it's still doable, but we saw during the heat races as well, some of the cars can play that high side, was very greasy, and once you try to side place to go up, it basically felt like you had a parachute on the back. To kind of take a few paraphrase quotes from Joshua Gaiman at the end of the heat races. So outside line going to try to suck forward here, but the downside is I think a lot of drivers kind of want to just ride a little bit here as we're just past halfway. But for some, your go time's going to be different than others, and when they elect to go, be quite interesting to note. But going to be away. Jeremy Breo still going to lead that lap as well. Tommy Reynolds pushing on by. And that inside line got the momentum and not looking to relinquish it anytime soon. As Seth Wansing now takes the lead on the outside, as I think, when those cars jumped in.
John Smeal moved to the inside line.
Thank you.
But yeah, Jeremy Breo right now leading the way. This is exactly what he's looking at the back of his car. We're gonna go with it here. Jeremy Breo on board with him, and you're seeing exactly what he's looking at from his mirror. He's looking straight back at Tommy Reynolds, the number 7.
Yeah, it's an intimidating sight when you look at now these next gen cars on that little left side, that little video mirror. It's quite intimidating looking back, and you're seeing basically an army chasing you down. But Breo, a seasoned veteran, being a champion no less, knows how to handle that Ford. And right now, Tommy Reynolds is basically the only Chevy in the top 6 holding it down. Kind of a lone wolf in a bunch of Fords.
We've got a Reynolds here. Interesting little cam. This is the nose of Reynolds' car. This is how close you have to be to make bumps work here at Daytona. This is right in the radiator inlet of the number 7 of Reynolds' car. Backing up a little bit, getting some air to that radiator that this camera is kind of blocking a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But obviously right now, just backing up a little bit. He's got the space to do that. Avoid overheating the engines. We're in the second half of this race now. But right now, you're going to be seeing this a lot. Some drivers just kind of hanging around and just riding. There's no points to be offered until you get to the last 10 laps.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to move to the outside here. Instant little move. Read that really well with Jack Mulkey.
Yeah. Some drivers know how to read those quite well. But worth noting, to kind of go back to that point, though, most people probably watching know about stock car racing and what drafting is, but for those don't, why they don't stay lock to lock is because the radiator the car will overheat, and if it overheats, damages the motor and end up being a lot slower, even blowing the engine. So it's worth noting you can lock on it for as long as you dare, and especially with 5 to go, you're basically going to be, or 3 to go, you're basically locked until you see the checkered or a caution. But yeah, you got to push your person ahead of you as hard as you can to try to clear them and then try to make something happen. And now you can see that inside with Seth Wanzing on the high line a couple laps ago, down to the bottom, leading the inside train, getting some help here by the 74 of Breo, and going to get pushed clear here. And the question is, will Breo go to the top side? He will. Will Seth Wanzing follow? He won't. So Breo going to try to now take control of that outside line and make it work, as Wanzing not going to end up probably leading this lap, as he basically took the momentum away from the inside, and outside line will lead the lap, and Jeremy Breo will as well.
Veteran experience right now leading the way with Jeremy Breo, defending champion. Seth Wanzing leading the inside lane, 2-time series champion. Tommy Reynolds, a race winner. Jack Mulkey won the Arrowhead 500 back in May last year over in the Champ Car side of things. Brendan Fetterplace won at Watkins Glen last year in this series. A lot of race winners and a lot of champions in this top 10. Tommy Reynolds again sitting second place at the moment.
Worth noting right now is that we don't have the mini map up, but you can see that we have one big here, and after that big pack,
pull it up for you.
Yeah, there you go. Look at the map right there. You can see that big pack there of drivers, and then after that, it's a Bren Roberts-led pack way behind, about 6 seconds back in Train 2, and then you can see a few cars straggling there in the 3rd position off the pace, lost the draft. And the problem is, though, is that in the old Gen 6 cars, if you got all linked up and you had more cars in your line, you could make it work. But we saw during the heat races that with 4, 5, 6 cars, you could be pretty much just as strong as a big pack. So even though they have so many cars, they're losing just time by the little bits because of just how they're linked up. The only saving grace, though, is in that front pack is they're pretty much not side by side, basically nose to tail. Some of them are pulling out and wanting to lead laps and get points, but just lead laps for their own pride, and that is slowing up just a bit, but not at the rate that backpack is wanting.
"41 laps to go here in the ARCS Daytona 250, the start of the Darkside Mustangs A-Square Cup Series season. Right now, it's Jeremy Breo, the defending champion, that leads the way. Did not win a single plate race in 2022 en route to that championship. Breo didn't win until Phoenix, the 3rd race of the season last year. Right now, so far, this season's already starting out a lot better than it did. His teammate, Steven Oberstadt, won last night in the Saturday Night Showdown Series. His team, Beatron Racing, trying to sweep the weekend. Bandit Racing in second place with Tommy Reynolds. Jack Mulkey sitting in third, and then number 27. John Smeal in fourth. Beachron Racing pretty well covered in the top 10. Josh Gaiman in fifth. Matthew Leiter up to sixth. After almost going a lap down in this race, up to sixth place for the number 83. Alex Mkowski in seventh. Tom Sears in eighth. Seth Wanzing up in ninth. Ryan Pinnell in the top 10. You see them battling right there for the edge of the top 10.
Only downside is you can see just in the back, like I said, batting for the top 10 between Sears and Pinnell. They're losing a little bit of time right now. They're still relatively close within drafting distance, but at the point, though, is that eventually fight enough, and you don't want to let this pack break away. But luckily, they're still well within slipstream distance, or drafting distance, I should say, as it's about a second before you really start feeling the ill effects of falling off and losing the draft. So they're doing still okay in that point, and a little fighting right now is good. But if that grip gap grows, and maybe a little bit of a panic button press, say, all right, stop the fighting, let's get back up to this lead pack and try it again. But looks like they're settling down for the long haul here. As we remember, we still got at least one green flag pit stop to make here. As we're coming in the short term here, we're going to see it happen. The question is, as we saw during all of Speed Weeks in both virtual and real life, you're probably trying to make deals with your teammates, anyone around you, because you don't want to come in alone. That is the main point. Come in alone is basically a death wish.
Believe that pit stop cycle begins in the next 12 to 15 laps. So still a little bit of time. Everyone's trying to get everyone's trying to get the 75. That's the goal. Because everyone pit on lap 48 or 49 except for Michelle and Garrison.
Correct.
Everyone pit under that last caution except for those two. So everyone's objective at this point in time is to get 75, make it 25 laps, because they'll have made it over 25 laps at that point, and just make this a non-contest. The issue is that 25 laps, that's the very limit, and if it's a checkered, as we have seen all weekend long, you're not safe anymore. So
you're going to have to come down, top it off, and sacrifice track position on that regard. So you want to go as long as you can. And it's helpful in twofold, because the longer you go, less time you have to spend on pit road putting fuel in the car, and in turn can leave a little bit earlier, and in turn get yourself a little bit more track position. So it's a risk-reward situation. Obviously, we know Michelle and Garrison both going to be the first to the pit here, but the question is, you want to blink last, so you can basically come in with the least amount of fuel to put in the car and try to make it. But the downside in that point is, if you try to go to a number instead of filling it up or whatever, if there's like you said, if there's a green white checkered, which is usually the trend here during Daytona, it's a point where you're going to have to be a little bit concerned.
Bringing up some trends here. Last night was the least amount of cautions we have ever had in a stream on Daytona. We had 6 cautions last night in the Saturday Night Showdown race. Every broadcasted stream we've had at Daytona, and this is our 8th, we have had a caution with less than 8 laps to go. The way it sits right now, we have had a green-white checkered every night so far this weekend. Friday night we had one. Saturday night we had one.
Ooh.
So
Link here first, 24 of Richie Catania coming in, but he only pitted on lap 4, so this is a scheduled stop for him, and probably Daniel Mitchell will be coming in shortly after. But the finish, kind of lets you finish your point, at least finish the point kind of for you to a degree. Cautions happen, even in real life. Tonight's race, green white checkered. Last night's race, green white checkered as well. Virtual land, a lot of green white checkered. So it almost feels like you have to prepare that in your survival kit, knowing you'll have probably at least one.
Right now, Breo leading 10 cars in this lead group. From Breo down to Shimkowski. Then there's a little 4-car pack with Ryan Pinnell, Donald Ray, Kevin Feimster, and Seth Wanzing. 3 of those 4 presidential racing cars.
I'm just looking through the chats here to see what's happening, but seeing a lot of cars in the back there electing the pit here. I saw a lot call out this time by, or next time by.
Roberts, Michelle, Withers, Garrison, Wright, Andrews, and Kruger all pit. Among others.
Yep. Not the most comfortable choice, but they want to try to do something here at the very least. Switch it up. More call-outs here. James Kerr, Stefan Oberson coming in. None from the main pack. You can see him. You're gonna see. Keep an eye on the right side of your screen here. You're gonna see Bren Roberts and the majority of that pack on your inside here, getting up the speed as the 74s is gonna swing on by most of them. Like they're standing still as they're getting up to speed. Problem right now is if they a caution ends up coming out, it's gonna pin them all lap down. The positive is they'll take the wave around. Downside is they're going to try to take quick evasive action here. The positive is, though, I guess, is they'll get their lap back, but they'll be at the tail base behind all the cars that elected to come down, as all that fast pack will clear Bren Roberts and his pack of lackeys.
Thought they were about to come in there for a second, but they elected not to, so all 10 will hold on to it here.
Yep.
Kevin Feaster comes in, I believe. No, he did not.
No, he did not. Yep.
No, I believe Feaster is coming in.
Oh.
Number 21.
Painter coming in one more lap, but he's...
No! Oh, he tried coming in, missed it.
Oh.
He is on his own and losing time frantically. He tried coming in. So I wasn't wrong there. I saw it flicker and then it disappeared. He tried and it didn't work.
Sometimes it flickers too when someone goes a little bit too low. I think a couple laps ago, Wanzing, it said he was going to pit and then ended up just getting kind of shoved down there.
These top 10, their goal, make it to 75.
Mm-hmm.
Get as close to that number as you can. All right, realistically, you can make it 74, be okay, I think. 75 gives you that clear lap advantage, though.
Mm-hmm.
These cars in their 5 gears a lot more fuel efficient than they were in years past.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as much of a stretch as it was. But you see that inside line, it's a single line here. Everyone knows what the game plan is. It's a heartbreaker if you're Jeremy Brea, because you know you cannot make the same mileage as the race leader.
The train you can't save. Same thing at Champ Cars Brickyard 500 along with other ones. Leading the train, can't save the fuel, and if the problem is you have to switch it out. But if he goes high, everyone's just going to freight train him, and he's going to go to the tail end of the pack. So
honestly, you kind of want to be at that point. Like, here's the thing: it's a group of 10 cars, right? You've opened up a 6.3 second gap to Ryan Pinnell and everyone else. Mm-hmm. You're in this group. It's okay at this point.
Sorry to cut you off. Braille pitting. Braille, Reynolds, and the rest are coming in this time by.
Well, there's the answer. They cannot make it 75. They will pit with less than 30 to go.
Mm-hmm. Hands out the window for them all. Well, virtual hands.
Get the HTC Vive hooked up. Not everyone came in.
No.
I'm not surprised by that.
Looks like they all got it woed down. No major incidents to report speeding or anyone. We'll have to wait and see, though, as if they get held. They obviously got the berries on. But looks like everyone did it okay. But now it's going to be Tom Sears leading the train along with his team behind him in Feather Place.
3 of the 5 that stayed out in this group are all line power. Makes it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that gaggle of cars. Oh, that would be what line power would love to see. I don't think they're going to get it, but...
No. All the cars of pit are now making their way out of pit lane right now. Anyone else going to pull in this time by? No one's coming. They're trying to go to 75.
Yeah, they're trying to reach that magic number. And they're only 2 laps away from getting that magic number. They can do it.
Yeah.
And this is where things get trouble, because obviously you see Bren Roberts and Daniel Michel, the 1 in the 25, Sunday Money Racing. You do not want to help them save fuel. You do not want to help them save fuel, because they know that they can't make it.
Yep.
They cannot make it from here.
Oh,
Don't
Sears
give
in.
them that help. Yeah, they're coming in here about a lap early, as there's a lot of trouble a little further behind. We'll look a little further back here. A lot of shuffling going on in these lap cars.
What's worth noting is I'm keeping at the cars at pit. It's only Braille and Gaiman linked up right now. Reynolds and the rest are in their own little pack about a second and a half behind. So they're not linked up to a degree where they're going to be putting out quick laps here. So we'll have to keep an eye on Gaiman and Breo and the rest of that pack that pitted and see where they shuffle out here. I think there's a good chance you can make a case Sears could inherit the lead here because they were linked up for a lot longer.
They're linked up for a lot longer, and if they get work together, because 3 of them are teammates here, whoa, Sears taking tires.
Oh, interesting.
So does Better Place.
Oh. Okay, maybe they won't. You can see one car leaving there. That's one of the presidential machines.
Yeah, presidential took a fuel only.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Sears left here. Leiter's in second. Purnell, Better Place, Wanzing, Zimkowski with a slower stop.
It's interesting taking
They're
tires.
Not getting the lead here.
No, they're not.
That is...
I think they may be banking on a green-white checkered because if a caution comes out, then they don't have to take tires. They come down, take fuel only. While you look at the cars ahead, I
wouldn't have taken tires here. I wouldn't have.
I would agree with you. I would not. I don't think tires are the smart strategy. It looks like they're not going to lose that much in comparison, though. So they'll be relatively okay. I agree with you. I don't think tires are the smart choice. In a special situation.
Okay, the issues here, like this, so they didn't lose a whole lot of time, right?
But that came out a lot farther ahead.
Here's you have teammates now leading this line. Mm-hmm. Gaiman, Breo, Mulkey, Smeal. That's all 4 B-Tron racing cars.
Ooh.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, if you're any other team, that is a problem. Because the defending series champion just smurfed the field on pit stops.
Correct.
And as we talked about, doesn't matter how big your line is. If you have 3 cars or more, you're running lead pace. What you have done is you have established a never-ending gap.
Mm-hmm.
Because that group that pit last, Tom Sears, Better Place, they did not exit lined up.
Nope.
That 1 second gap is already 3, and it's not going to get smaller.
True, and Sears doesn't really have much help behind, if I'm not mistaken.
That's the problem. Sears and Leiter, they're 3 seconds back. All of the other help that they had, Purnell, Better Place, 6 and 9 seconds back.
Yeah. Only thing is they're going to catch the lap down vehicle here just ahead of them, but that's not going to be enough. And like you said, the problem is with them all spaced out, the likelihood of a caution drops, which is something a lot of these drivers
The only positive out of this is that those that just pit, Tom Sears, they are the closest that could make it on fuel without making another stop. We know that the group we're looking at right now, the group that's leading, cannot make it. We know that. That's pretty well established. The issue is that if they open up enough of a gap, we saw this last night, there is the ability to just clutch and coast the final couple laps and still be fine.
And considering that 4 out of 5 are teammates and they're links, it's not like it's 4 different teams in that top pack where they're all going to mutually assure destruction each other because they know, why should I help you when you're not going to help me? They all are in communication. They're all in the same server right now, talking this out, knowing, all right, I'm going to let off a little bit here, you're going to let off a little bit here, we're going to make this work. We're going to hit that number we have to hit. So the only way they'll probably fight is when we get down to maybe 3-2 to go, when the green light comes on, and they're still going to respectfully fight. They're going to fight it out to themselves, and they're just going to make sure that out of those cars on that lead pack, right now, the only car they don't want to see cross that line in first position is number 7 to Tommy Reynolds in that little line. After that, they don't care who wins between the 4 of them.
Oh, they care.
It's, at the end of the day, they care a little, but it's still good for the overall team.
Josh Gaiman leads the way. We're down to less than 25 to go, 23 to go this time. It'll be 22 to go at the line. It's been a blistering pace for the ARCS Daytona 250. Been a lot of fun. Hope you all have been enjoying it as much as we have been up here in the booth. For those that are just now tuning in, you've been missing a pretty crazy race, crazy opening 40 laps. And now it's down to the nitty-gritty here with 22 laps to go. Josh Gaiman leads over Jeremy Breo, Jack Mulkey, and John Smeal. Josh Gaiman, 5 wins last season. Jeremy Breo, 8 wins last season en route to the 2022 Series Championship. Jack Mulkey trying to become the first driver to win the ARCS Daytona 250 and the ABN Arrowhead 500.
Mm-hmm.
He won the Arrowhead 500 last year. This is his first attempt at the ARCS Daytona 250. Trying to become the first person to make history on that front. John Smeal looking for his best ever finish. Right now, they're sitting pretty well. Tommy Reynolds also sitting in place. Tommy Reynolds won the 2021 Arrowhead 500-mile race. So he's got a chance at it as well. A little bit of history in this top 5. Matthew Leiter, Tom Sears, they are losing time. 8 seconds back from the lead now, and they are hemorrhaging.
Just trying to stop gap it here, and the problem is the next cars behind him, Bren Roberts' train, that's closing, but not at a rate that you're going to like. That gap between Sears and Roberts, 5.6. It's coming down, but it's not coming down at a quick enough rate. And even when they do get linked up, by the time that happens, you can probably split the difference between 8 and 5. Assume it's probably 12, 13 seconds they'll be back of this 5-car train. And considering that's going to probably take them 5, 6 laps, maybe 10 to catch up, you're looking at about 10 to go before one line catches the other. And remember, that line being led, some of those drivers in it, like Bren Roberts, can't make it to the end on the number. But Purnell and Featherplace, Austin Purnell and Brandon Featherplace, both can. So it's interesting to see how this is going to play out here. You got 2 different strategies. You got the top 5 trying to make it on the lift and coast strategy, maybe try to hit that number, while the second train can make it. However, can they catch up, or can they hope that the front pack runs out?
The work begins here. They're catching up to lap traffic. This lead group is pulling on everybody at an alarming rate. 19 laps to go here at Daytona. This lead pack seamlessly moves to the outside lane. That's Steven Oberstadt that's being lapped, as is Cody Riggs and Richie Catania. Oberstadt becomes the first car a lap down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a look in the back. Tommy Reynolds, the 47. That's the caution the pack's needed, and that was a bit of a self-destruction moment there.
That was Tommy Reynolds involved too. Donald Ray in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was both the top 2 contenders for the Lucky Dog.
Yep. So they ain't going to get the caution back.
That goes to Dustin Painter now, I think.
I think you're correct.
Wow.
Ooh.
And there's Dustin Painter right there at 65, that red and white car.
Smirking from ear to ear, if that's correct.
Oh, you are smiling like a child. That is, you have walked, it is like a kid in the candy store moment for Dustin Painter. He led laps. His first Super Speedway laps led in a year. And now he has the ability to get back on the lap with 18 laps to go to race this thing out. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is having your cake and eating it too. That is 100%. You have begged and you have chosen, and you have been granted whatever it is you wanted. Fantastic. And unfortunately, it's at the behest of last night's race winner Steven Oberstadt, who will not get lucky dog here.
Nope. Oof. All right. That's if you're the top pack, that's what you didn't want to see. Maybe you would have made it, maybe you wouldn't have, but you definitely don't want to bunch this up now. Because now you got a bunch of angry drivers who are, well, I don't say angry, but hungry drivers that are going to want to race for this. And
they're not angry yet.
They're not angry. They're hungry, though. They want this. And B-Tron Racing was looking at a good finish for the team, and now they're going to have to fight hard here. As most drivers are going to probably come down here, top off. You want to take tires, take them now. And this is the one positive, though, is with Sears and the rest. If they took tires on that stop, or at least some tires, they can fill up here less, and because they went longer and also coming out stronger. So we'll take a look at the replay here.
Yeah, this is strange to me because Reynolds tags the wall here. A little bit of target fixation. Reynolds tags the wall just a little bit. Ooh, Donald.
Oh.
It looks like Donald Ray got loose on that outside lane. I don't think Donald Ray intended to do anything like that, because obviously he was battling with Oberstadt to try to get that lucky dog back, and now neither of them do. Let's see. We'll see if we go on board here with Donald Ray. It looked like he was trying to back out of it here, and
Yeah. Just.
yeah, we'll go on board for the whole duration of the incident here. Overstat's not gonna have any idea. And then we're right on board with a somehow saving it Tommy Reynolds here.
Mm-hmm. Again, doesn't hit anything. Roasted the tires, but doesn't hit anything, so I'll take that at the very least. It's a consolation prize.
Alrighty. Jeremy Breo will be leading this field to green here.
Yep. It's going to be Braille, Leiter, Mulkey, Sears, Smeal, Reynolds, your top 6. Then Gaiman, who's leading that train, now in 7th. Feather Place in 8th. Austin Purnell and Alex Simkowski rounding out your top 10. Roberts, Wanzing, Thomas Andrews, Joshua Garrison, top 14. And then finishing off the 20, Bradley Wright, Danielle Michelle, Kevin Feemster, Tommy Withers, Donald Ray, and Ryan Pennell, top 20 here. It's just going to be interesting to see here because cautions breed cautions. And you got a lot of hungry drivers who were maybe just putting around in the back, waiting for something to happen, and you just gave them a second life. They're not going to waste it.
Yeah, this saved a lot of drivers from what was probably going to be a frustrating race for them, but now it could be very frustrating for a different reason. Because the strategy window's gone. There's no strategy to this anymore. It is now go for it. And also, look how many cars on the outside lane.
Yeah. I feel comfortable with that outside line. A few drivers are questioning where the inside line is. All
there
right,
we go. We got it now. They're coming out of pit lane. We're good. Breo, Leiter, front row. Pace car is in. Green flag is out, and away we go.
Looks relatively okay for the most part. Braille's inside line gets it going, even though we were wondering where the inside line was. Here they are, chugging forward. So they got 6 cars in a line. Outside line still a little bit disoriented at the very least. Not nose to tail like they should be to kind of push ahead here. They're now going to get off this back stretch here. Is he Leiter now going to take choo-choo train to the high side? He's going to get some help here. Good push there. And he's going to Tom Sears, and he should be able to clear the inside line. Question is, will he stay with Sears or go low? Looks like he'll hold on the high side, at least for now, with Tommy Reynolds and co. So it looks like 83 going to be a spot. He hasn't been here since the opening laps, leading the train, leading the way. And it looks like they're talking about coming down here with Sears. It looks like Tommy Reynolds is going to take it first. Leiter said, if you want to go down, we'll go down. And Tommy Reynolds said, all right, I'm not going to let you do that to me. He took the opportunity and takes it, and he'll go to the low side. Problem is, I don't think it's going to work out for him, as now Sears and Leiter are clear of him anyway.
So, and that's the problem you have with trying to coordinate that publicly. Obviously, they're not teammates 83 and the 14. Reynolds could sniff that out because he's able to hear it. Mm-hmm. Whereas if it was like, if there was Sears and Feather Place talking, if Sears goes to the inside, Feather Place almost turned his team owner.
Don't wreck the owner.
Absolutely do not. That's one way to get on the chopping block really early.
Oh,
but no one wants to be behind Leiter now.
Yeah,
Leiter didn't want to be very decisive about it, and Sears like, I'm going to be decisive. I'm going to go to the lead. He leads this lap. But now I got problems here because Leiter is going to be bogging down that outside lane until he gets dispatched.
Yeah. Question is, Feather Place, what will they do? They could try to make the third line work here and try to sucker hole him. But
it's too early for a third line. I know we're close to 10 to go, but we're not there yet. It's too early for a third line. You want to make it to that 10 to go mark. You want to actually have a chance. And I think obviously you're seeing how much Leiter's moving around. He is not comfortable being pushed.
Nope.
It's one of those things you just have to find the guts. You have to find the courage to just hold on to that steering wheel. You have to white knuckle it and just brace for impact. And I don't think Leiter's been in that position before, at least not at this level. And it's showing because Better Place is walloping the rear of that number 83 car. And,
Yeah,
and you see it. He just got thrown to the middle of the track. And Better Place, he's going to get tired of having to be patient here. Leiter's not in a good place right now, and it's not helping anybody. It's helping Tom Sears, and it's helping everyone behind him.
Oh, well, outside line took an opportunity
Yeah.
with Breo. They just split Sears and Reynolds like they were nothing. Here comes Bradley Wright, though, in the 8. He's trying to get as quick as he can up there, but he's got to get around
Bradley
6
Wright's
cars.
going to make out like a bandit here, and that's a pun intended. The Bandit Racing number 8 going to try to make something happen, and his teammate in the 7 right there in front of him. There is going to be a little bit of teamwork here. Brendan Roberts moves to the bottom. So will Wanzing, but Breo leads this lap ahead of Mulkey, ahead of Smeal.
Yep, he was at Reynolds right now. Is trying to throw out the tow rope, the Bradley Wright, to get him as quick as he can up front. They're now lined up. Nose to tail.
There's about to be a lot of shuffling here.
Oh, Gaiman down low, and 3 cars, 4 cars follow suit. They all jumped. Oh, Tom Sears in the middle, trying to make something happen. Gets behind the 83 of Leiter, and it's a similar situation.
It was a bad bump by Bradley Wright. And now Tom Sears in the sucker hole. Moves to the outside lane in front of Oberstadt, who's a lap down.
Oh, we're only 11 laps to go. Already a heart rate to the
It's
roof.
not
I'm
over yet.
even
But now we know it is showtime. Business is picking up here at
Brent
Daytona.
Roberts going high.
Yeah, Brendan Roberts went high. Obviously, Sunday Monday Racing, it is very much drivers for themselves at the moment. Mulkey with a little bit of a blink. Reynolds goes to the top lane. Reynolds wants to try to make some history. Mulkey in second. Third, John Smeal. Fourth, Tommy Reynolds alongside Josh Gaiman. This could be a barnstorming Daytona 250 finish.
Oh, if they all keep 10 to go, though. A lot of miles left.
Absolutely
Gaiman
a lot of miles left in this race.
getting some help. And then inside line, you got Tommy Reynolds, Bren Roberts on the outside. You got the 74 of Jeremy Breo, Jack Mulkey on the inside. We know Mulkey's someone that capitalizes when opportunities happen. He's got a lucky horseshoe on his machine when he drives. Can he take one more advantages right now as we're coming to go with 9 to go? As it looks like still inside-outside, the 7 going to get clear here of that inside line with the help of the 1.
A giant
Rider.
push there by Brendan Roberts. Both of them get clear. Brendan Roberts leads out. Reynolds taking off the dry. Roberts trying to go for the race lead.
That's going to be in the back of the note there.
Watch
Jack
out.
up there on the inside. 27 of Mulkey.
Yeah,
Had to check
Mulkey
it down.
and Smeal and Gaiman not very tandem up there. That gives Reynolds what he needed. Reynolds moves to the inside. Leiter back to the lead of that outside lane. Has he found the confidence to hold on to the 83?
Thing worth noting right now is Tommy Reynolds got that in the back of his mind. With Bren Roberts, he will ditch you at any point, which you understand when to go. But it's in the back of his mind. He can't trust him worth anything. As here he goes up the line. We're going to come to 8 to go. Tommy Reynolds still out of the way. Question is, can the outside get a charge? There's Matthew Leiter, the driver.
Leiter's got something here. Matthew Leiter's starting to figure it out here, and he's figuring it out at a pivotal time.
Dragging Feather Place with him.
Yeah, Feather Place is there. Shimkowski, Sears, line power. Second, third, and fourth on that outside lane. When do they abandon the 83?
It's going to be interesting. He's held on for this long.
Yeah.
He's going to try to make that card wide. He's going to go kicking and screaming. Feather Place, I think, thought about it. Just got that bad bump there. Going to tuck back in. It's not going to help there. They're not going to link up here. So that outside line going to lose a little bit of momentum as we're going to come to 7 to go here. Still the Tommy Reynolds show out front. Bren Roberts going to go high. Tommy Reynolds going to try to hook the bottom. Bren Roberts now going to try it again, and he's going to get help from Leiter here.
Oh, he's got it. Momentum right there, and Leiter gets to the inside. That's exactly what he wanted. Roberts and Leiter now the inside, and that's kind of what Line Power wanted. They got Leiter out of the way. But now Leiter's he just got shuffled back to the top. Yeah.
Leiter just got hooked, and that will be a caution. Well, they disposed of Leiter, not in a way Leiter probably wanted.
Cap it off the wall. He took a wild slide.
Control, not thinking that probably should have been a caution, but we get one anyway. So re-rack him.
I believe that was an iRacing caution.
Yep. iRacing's always a bit fickle with those ones, but he was far enough up, and they deemed he was just enough of a caution to call one out. So We're not in green-white checker territory yet. We'll come back with 4 to 3 to go. We're not going to be in green-white checker territory yet, but worth noting for the viewers at home, if I'm not mistaken, we get 3 green-white checkers, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Standard stock car protocol here.
Okay. Unlike Real Life where it's unlimited, we'll not have that, but if we need all 3, we'll use them. But if we do get to that point, we'll update you then. But for right now, just know we're not in green-white checker territory yet. This race is still going to scheduled distance. Let's talk about yellow line infraction there, possibly for that incident. No call called, so nothing will be affected. So now, Brent Roberts and Tommy Reynolds, 1-2. Worked together, multiple laps. Roberts jumped out 2 times on Tommy Reynolds, got the stick the second time. It's gonna be interesting to know. Roberts moved around Reynolds both times. Now Reynolds has got to try to make the move similar to Roberts. Can that 7 get around that 1? Lucky Dog gonna go high here. Stefan, you're gonna see him scoot around.
Overstep finally gets on the lead lap here. This could be a big change.
Yep. He's got his little companion on the hood. For those that watched the duels, if you can recall back to that point, it was a 5-lap shootout at the end of both duels for the fun of it. Well, when we get back, it's going to be 3. So basically probably about the similar car count to what was there for that exhibition race at the end of the duels. And half the laps left. So this is going to be quite interesting. And I recall right before that stream ended, there was an aggressive block or 2 on that last lap. Will we see that again? All right, so as they come out of 3 and 4 and it comes to the start-finish straight, we are going to see the choose cone rule in effect. It's all important here. Do you take your chances on the high or low line? Where do you feel comfortable? Worth noting that Breo and Mulkey are teammates along with Smeal. Problem is, though, highly unlikely they'll all get linked up here. Watch the choose here. Robert's going to go high. Reynolds going to go low. 2 out of 3 with Breo and Mulkey are going to go high as well. Smeal looks like he'll hang it low. That's at least for your top 5.
It's not really enough to get to see how this looks, but obviously getting a kind of look is like the process that everyone chooses, and as far as like picking their lanes, it's always interesting. And it's the only series that we have in our programming that does this, so very unique experience here. Bryn Roberts, Tommy Reynolds front row, then it's Breo and John Smeal, then it's Jack Mulkey, Brandon Fetterplace, Alex Jimkowski, Tom Sears.
It's worth noting in the top 6, the only teammates are going to be the Beachon Race Machines. They're going to be with Breo and Mulkey linked back to back. John Smeal is going to be on the second car on the inside line, and they're going to try. And then on the front row, it's Bandit Racing and the number 1 of Brent Roberts with Sunday Monday Racing, and Bandit Racing's number 7 of Tommy Reynolds. So it's going to be interesting. 2 Chevys, 2 Fords, a Toyota, and another Ford. Your front 3, and then a sea of Toyotas all the way to 8th. See someone in the chat rooting for Bandit Racing and Tommy Reynolds, bringing it out. But if you're home right now, strap your seat. If you have a seatbelt on your chair, strap it on, because this is going to be very fun, very aggressive, and very nerve-wracking. As we're going to bring you, hopefully, maybe the conclusion of this ARCS 250 here, but you never know.
This is not a green white checkered attempt. We are coming to 3 laps to go. We're completing lap 97 of the scheduled 100. Roberts, Reynolds, front row. Pace car is in. Green flag back out. We're underway.
And Roberts gets a good jump. Will he hang high or try to jump low here to get in front of Reynolds? Oh, you can see a move there. Breo going to take in front of his teammate, leave Mulkey hanging.
This is the point of the race where teammates do no longer exist. This is that point in the race. But keep an eye on that 43 of John Smeal. He will hang out with his teammate there, Jeremy Breo, if push comes to shove. 74, clear of Bryn Roberts, as is Tommy Reynolds, and there's a crash in the back.
There's a crash in the back, and that will be a caution. So that will trigger our first green-white checker.
There's a green-white checker here.
Yeah, well, 2 laps of pace, so definitely going to be a green-white checkered situation. So Brent Roberts gets disposed of. And I think right now in the back of your mind, you're thinking, high line, is it worth it? Because we saw on the choose cone rule, Brent Roberts took the high side, Tommy Reynolds took the low side, and then instantly Breo jumped to the low side when there was an open hole and basically left Roberts to hang. So now if you're Tommy Reynolds, you're probably going to still choose the bottom, but it raises a good question on that point. Do you want to try the high side? Because you may get disposed if you're not careful. Someone in the chat asking if Bradley made it through. He did. He's currently P8, so he was able to avoid it.
So here's what happened here, and we'll go to our trusty old blimp cam. Because this is okay. So we're going to slow this down. All right, so going slow here. That is Thomas Andrews in the wall with Matthew Leiter. And then that's the 42 of David Wright that gets tagged. 18 of Josh Garrison. And then we'll move forward here. A lot of contact back here.
Yep.
And that was James Kerr that took a giant hit. And McCruger went straight to the inside.
Just trying to avoid it.
Yeah. So you're seeing a nice little perspective of the outside of the track here as they go through turns 3 and 4.
Yep. Just curious what it looked like. There you go.
Yeah, so the contact happens here. We'll have to take a look here because that starts with Leiter and Andrews. And it's a checkup is what it is.
Yeah.
It's just a really bad checkup there on the outside lane. You saw Wanzing got checked up. And it just accordions so quick.
We
were coming out of pit lane, having to get repairs.
So we're 2 to go. Choose cone rule going to be in effect with 1 to go here as we're going to come around here. By the way, while we take the second here, if you're still sticking it through with us, watching on the Air Broadcast Network, thank you for joining us here, for all the people in the audience, and all for the people that subscribed as well or following. Thank you for following as well, as we do provide you great content with leagues throughout most of the week, from Mondays all the way to Sundays. And you can see here on the screen as well the socials. You can follow the Twitch. You can see esports_on_ABN for the Twitter. And you can go to the ABN website at https://abnesports.com, where you can get all the updates on the leagues and the drivers and so on and forth. And remember, Champ Cars come up as well. Going to be on Thursdays. Going to be quite a treat to watch, as both Carmen and myself will be taking part in that. But now we're going to come up to the choose cone rule here. You can already see some drivers taking advantage of it. Reynolds and Breo going to hug it low. Brent Roberts now going to take that high side where he was kind of duped last time. He's now going to be front row again. So similar to what we saw last time, it's going to be Roberts and Reynolds first in line. Breo and Sears second row. Mulkey and Sears and Breo second row. And Smeal and Featherplace third. So it's going to be quite interesting to see the top 3 rows and how it shakes out here. And the question is, we saw it last time when Breo duped Roberts. I want to say dupe, but dumped down to go to the inside line. If there's enough of a hole, well, maybe we'll see Sears or Roberts try a similar move.
Riding aboard Seth Wanzing here. A little bit of our helmet cam. We haven't used it at all this race. We have not really had much of a reason to. Approaching the first green-white checkered finish here. We'll run on board with him for a little bit here. See how the start of this race goes.
We're not pixeling out the dashboard like they do on the real broadcast.
Absolutely. Well, it's all fixed anyway, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, we're not going to see it anyway, but worth noting.
Actually, we do see the rev limit.
Yeah.
Used to not be able to. They used to do our jobs for us.
Soon we'll be replaced by robots. But regardless, going green.
Yeah, Wanzing in row 6 here. Meadows Barbecue, number 9. You see all these cars sitting in front of him right now? Moving targets.
Yep. Challenges. Hurdles.
Obstacles.
Wanzing likes these.
Yeah. Well, depends
I don't
on
know if he likes them.
depends if they're sideways or not. But pace
Yeah.
car is in. It's Reynolds and Roberts on the front row, and away we go. Attempt number 1 at a green white checkered finish.
Good jump there by the 7 again with Breo's help as well behind, but that's going to be a big gap there. He's going to have to choose a line here, inside or outside. Outside, not really the most organized. 2 cars clear already. Breo could go up if he so chose, and they're going to kind of hug the middle low area, and they'll hold it off too. You can see further back there, 3 wide. Some cars already trying to make that high line work. Clue Briley Wright and Seth Wanzing as they're keeping it all straight for the most part, but they're getting a bit squirrely. If we get back to the white, this phase will finish, but it looks like a few cars in the back, and that will be a caution. No caution. Sorry.
It is a caution.
No caution. Caution, okay. Didn't want to miscall that. For an incident that happened slightly in the back, a few cars kind of got tangled, including the 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I know Emma Kruger was involved. Ryan Pinnell was involved. Dustin Painter looks like he got a piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Seth Wanzing got a piece of it. Cody Riggs. Yep.
Whew. Yeah, we'll see some of the chaos already unfolding.
All right, so this is we're gonna go to our good old chopper cam here, and we saw it go 3 wide, and you kind of expect it to go this way. Look at Cody Riggs. Oberstadt again.
Happened before.
Yeah, it happened to Oberstadt here. Obviously, we'll kind of go back here, but he gets turned. I think he kind of comes... No! Leiter. Leiter tries shooting the gap.
Couldn't make it work. Oberstadt came down, and yep, Kruger for a ride, and bing bong. Few cars got
and
some
then
damage.
the wrecking in front, too, so it goes on a little bit longer.
Pinella's got tapped hard there. There's Riggs.
Dustin Painter, that's David Wright. They got a large piece of it. There's where Seth Wanzing got involved.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insult and injury for the 47. There's just a little extra tap for his troubles.
A lot of cars involved as they wrecked afterwards.
Oh. Interesting note. Brent Roberts just came down the pit lane. Odd. Worth noting, he was in that top pack, and I guess didn't have the fuel, underfueled it. So he didn't have any damage. Very odd. So it's going to be Reynolds, Breo, Smeal, Mulkey, Sears, your top 5.
James Crow got a lot back.
Mm-hmm.
James Crow actually be on the lead lap here now.
Yep.
25 cars lead lap.
25.
Second attempt at an overtime finish coming up. Our trends, once again, accurate.
Honestly, I feel like if you came in here and told me there wouldn't be a green white checkered, I don't think I'd believe you. Even if it was the best series, even if it was the Coke series, I don't think I'd believe you saying, "Oh, there won't be a green white checker coming to the line." It's like it's restricted. It's a super speedway racing. You're always going to get one at least throughout a calendar year. That's just how the beast works.
We are 8 for 8 with cautions within 8 laps of the end of the race. We are 3 for 3 this weekend on green white checker finishes for races. And this race of the weekend has the most cars on the lead lap for a finish.
Mm-hmm.
25 cars.
Well, let's not jinx that yet. We still got another green white checker to go. We may lose a few more. But yeah, just in case anyone don't know, as we watch the choose cone here, green white checker rules as simple. If we get to the white flag, out of caution, next flag ends the race, whether it be the finish or a yellow. But if we don't, we'll get one more attempt at it for the white flag lap. See the choose cone effect here. First 4 all hug the bottom. All want to stay nose to tail. First car on the high line there is going to eat the rewards. I think that is Tom Sears. So Tom Sears is going to take the Bren Roberts spot the previous 2 restarts and is going to line up first on the outside line with the help of Simkowski behind, and I think Feather placed 3rd in that line. So a lot of cars electing to stay to the bottom, at least for the first 6 and 7. After that, elected to jump high to just take advantage of the track position. You could also say one other thing is if you're on the bottom, the risk, you don't really have anywhere to go because most of the cars will stay on the high side. But at least on the high side, the positive is that you have more room to go, but that's also a curse because if a car 3rd and 4th in line, let's say like the 34 Feather place, for instance, could try to split Simkowski and make a 3rd line occur. So inside line, you don't have to worry about people jumping, but on the outside line, that's where your 3rd line gets to form. So risk reward, and it looks like majority of the field felt like they want to hug the bottom.
Well, we're going to find out here in a second how it's going to work. Obviously, Tom Sears in the outside lane with help from Alex Jimkowski, teammates there on the outside lane. Better place 3rd in line on the outside lane, so maybe a little bit team coordination might make things go a lot smoother this time around. For those just now tuning in, I'm Carmen Hardy. Alongside me, Kevin Young. This is the finish of the ARCS Daytona 250 that's coming up here. Second green-white checkered attempt. It's Reynolds, Sears, Breo, Jimkowski, Smeal, Feather place. Pace car pulls in. Who's going to win it? Through the restart zone. Green flag back in the air, and already a bad bump by Jeremy Breo.
Yep.
That's what Tom Sears needed.
Yep, that's going to help Tom Sears, but he didn't get going either on that outside. Reynolds, similar to the previous 2 restarts, going to tiptoe away here with Breo and toe behind. Outside line. Oh, car in the middle there. That's going to bump Feather place up into the wall there.
And there's another green white checkered.
Nope, there's the caution.
Feather place and Daniel Michel.
All right. Last attempt. We know this last restart will be the last restart. Whatever happens, happens.
Michelle had to toe back, so his race is effectively done.
Matthew Leiter has damage as well.
Here's what happened. And it happens quick.
Nice shot of the RV. Nope.
Michelle just immediately tries to put it 3 wide, put Feather place in the wall. Feather place bounces off the wall. Ooh, a hard hit there by Feather place, lifting him off the ground completely.
And that's a toe, because obvious damage.
So, Michelle in pit lane, obviously.
Yeah, Leiter came in because he did have damage. So that's why he came in.
So, this will go as the longest Daytona race we have broadcasted. We're on lap 107. By the time we get to the finish of this race, we will have eclipsed 110 laps. Actually, no, this is not the longest. The 300 we ran for HTL is the longest. That was 120.
Speaking of HTL, your co-commentator came in, joined in the chat. Good to see her joining, coming out for the broadcast. But it's worth noting, as we got 2 to go here, we'll have the 1 to go next time by. But worth noting as well, there will be no yellows thrown. So unlike in real life where yellow could come out and the field will be frozen, that is not going to happen here. If we see a wreck, it will not be thrown, and you will just go to the end. So it's going to be trying to keep the car straight, keeping it pointed in the right direction, and hope that you can avoid the chaos, and hope Lady Luck is on your side.
Wanting a lap back here. Wanting gets back on the lead lap. Went a lap down for repairs during the first green-white checkered attempt. Feather place still on pit lane. Oberstadt on pit lane still. Ben and Michelle's race officially over.
Mm-hmm. Oh. I'm just glad I'm not in the cockpit, because this is always nerve-wracking when you're coming to the last green-white checkered.
Honestly,
Always
I'll kind of share my experience with this. Honestly, the first green-white checkered's the scariest. And the more green-white checkers you see, the more it kind of just evolves into lunacy. You start laughing at it at certain points, because at this point you're just waiting for it to, if it hasn't hit you yet. Obviously, you're looking at the top three. They've been very lucky to be ahead of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start getting to this point, you're like, okay, when does it get to me? When does it move forward enough to get to me? Reynolds, obviously, he's already been clipped. He's already been turned around in this race.
Mm-hmm.
But Breo's been lucky enough. Smeal's been lucky enough to get away from it. Luck or skill. You can say either or. It takes a lot of skill to not be involved in incidents, especially how clustered they've been. Obviously, using the choose cone here.
Yep,
Tom Sears. Again on the outside lane.
Again.
No longer teammates right behind him.
Nope.
Importantly, Tom Sears now has to deal with Thomas Andrews. And then Donald Ray in the 2, Ryan Pinnell in the 12. For those tuning in, final restart attempt for the ARCS Daytona 250. We're on lap 109. We go green on lap 110, I should say. We had not been there for 500 miles.
Half the distance.
Half the distance. But yeah. Inside lane, Tommy Reynolds for Bandit Racing. Then it's Jeremy Breo and John Smeal for Beatron Racing. And Jack Mulkey for Beatron Racing. So 3rd, 5th, and 7th on the inside lane, all teammates here. And 9th, Josh Kamen in the 61. The inside lane's been really taking these restarts by storm. Are you ready for this? Probably not. But this is the last restart attempt. This is for the marbles. Reynolds, Sears, Breo, Andrews, Smeal, Ray, Mulkey, Ryan Pinnell, top 8. Pace car is in. Green flag is out for the last time. We're underway once again. Will we make it back?
Sears gets a good jump there.
He's lot better of a jump, but now it's pandemonium behind.
Mm-hmm. Sears, will he come down or will he stay with the 5 of Thomas Andrews? Looks like they're going to lose a little bit of toe here. Inside line, find their momentum. Outside line, Donald Ray not close enough. 5 cars deep on the inside, only 3 on the outside. Pretty much it's going to be settled between this top 9 here for this win.
Reynolds leads over Breo, then Smeal, then Mulkey, then Game on the inside lane. Tom Sears won one race last season at Talladega. Will not win this one. He gets turned by Andrews. There's a crash in turn 4.
No caution call. We're going to keep going.
5-car race for the finish. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go at Daytona. Reynolds leads, but will he lead the last lap?
Worth noting 4 of those 5 are teammates behind him.
Here they go. There's the block.
Reynolds is making that car wide, 3 cars wide, but Breo's not going to make it work. Breo going to go around 43, 27, 61, going to train Tommy Reynolds.
All the team is going to work around here. All the Beatron racing cars abandon Tommy Reynolds. Now, will they race it out for the finish, or will they stay line astern? Further back, Ray, Pinnell, Kruger, Wright, all battling there outside the top 5. Reynolds got left completely out to dry. Breo's left out to dry here. Mulkey trying to make history. He won the Arrowhead 500 last year. Can he win at Daytona? They got 3 teammates wrecking at the line. Breo wins at Daytona.
Breo, Gaiman, Mulkey, and I think either Reynolds or Smeal 4th. It was Reynolds, then Smeal. That is your top 5. Breo played his cards right. Defending champion. Comes out and will win this race and will start the season off on a high note. Then it's Ray, Pinnell, Emma Kruger 8th, David Wright 9th, and Briley Wright rounding out your top 10 here for the Daytona 250.
That was a
Tommy
good
Reynolds.
result. Now, obviously, Beach Run Racing, they were racing out.
Tommy
What a
Reynolds,
race.
Tommy Reynolds understands what happened. He's not happy about it, but he understands. He respects the game, respects the hustle. You like to see it in the chat at least.
Wow. Jeremy Breo, Josh Gaiman, Jack Mulkey, podium finishers for Beatron Racing, and Breo's going to burn it down here across the Daytona grass.
Mm-hmm.
Defending series champion.
From Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Gonna burn it down as number 74 Ford for Beachon Racing. As we see him burn it down, if you're still here, do not go anywhere. We still got Jeremy Breo, Joshua Gaiman, and Jack Mulkey. Top three, all going to have interviews here in the short term, so don't go anywhere. You'll hear from those top three in a minute as we wait for the 74 to finish up his little celebratory burnout here.
What a race for Jeremy Breo. Phenomenal drive for the 74. Led the most laps in this race. Made himself a consistent presence. Josh Gaiman led 12 laps. Mulkey didn't lead any. Tommy Reynolds led 16 laps. Reynolds led the second most of anybody in this field and finished off the podium in 4th place. Took us 111 laps. But this year's Daytona 250 champion, Jeremy Breo. Phenomenal result there by Beachron Racing, rounding out the podium. We'll talk to him first in just a second. Jeremy, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy? Jeremy, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Oh, saw his mic move.
You got me now?
Absolutely gotcha. Daytona 250 champion. What a way to kick off the season as the defending champion of the series. What a race. You had all your team right there with you for those final couple laps. Coordination was key. Walk us through that.
Well, it all starts with my teammates. I didn't think we were going to work this well together. I mean, I knew we were gonna win some races, but I didn't think we were all in on the colic plan, because that's what that was. Everybody was committed to each other, and that was probably one of the most badass things I've ever seen, is our whole team fighting it out to the end there. And I consider Reynolds part of our team too, because he worked with us the whole night. So thanks to him for working with us the majority of the night, and thanks to just all my team, man, because I wouldn't have won that without my team. That was all them. So it's a team victory. It's not just me. So
absolutely, obviously, team mattered so much. We talked about it in this race, and you had your team lined up there at the bottom lane for so long, and you just couldn't pull away until the very end. Obviously, getting to the third green white checker, we knew that this was sort of just it. You talked about, like, you weren't sure how well this plan was going to work. How frustrating was it having your team in this position for so long at the front of the field? Obviously, you led the most laps. Gaiman led laps. Reynolds led laps. Smeal was with you all race long. Mulkey was with you all race long. How frustrating was it having to really kind of wait and hold on to it for essentially 11 laps just to try to figure this out?
it got pretty frustrating after the second crash happened, to cause the second green white checkered. It was because I knew it was a bunch of guys that were fighting for 24th, and they were all wrecking each other for no reason, thinking they had a shot at it. So that was the frustrating part. But like I said, throughout the whole time under caution, we're just reassuring each other that we're with each other, and they held up their end of the bargain. And then right there at the end, when everybody wrecked behind us, like we're all getting giddy and we're all laughing because we know we're gonna leave Reynolds out to dry. And then we finally pulled it off going into turn 2, and then it was on from there. I kind of said no team orders after we got the lead. So, I mean, at the end, that was us fighting for the win. It was on from there. So, pretty cool. We got a 1, 2, 3, and I think we got 5th. So that was that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. And obviously, like, you look at this race, and obviously you're going to look back at it as just one of the best team results we've seen in a very long time. But you look at this team makeup. We looked at this team in the draft, and it was like, okay, this is a team of winners. Obviously, Mulkey, he's done his thing in Champ Car. He's got 2 race wins there. Josh Gaiman absolutely built. You two raced it out for race wins and a championship all year last year. To kick it off this way in such a dominant fashion. Looking at Fontana next week, looking at these next couple races, how do you build on that? How do you just make that even better? Looking at just how stacked you guys came out tonight.
Well, I know we got some work to do with Steven. He's not very used to these cars yet, so we'll have to work with him a little bit. But I mean, once we work with him enough, I think off the super speedways, we're probably gonna be tearing up the circuit. I think I don't want to be the guy to shoot his own shot, but like we have literally the best guys, I think, that we could have picked possibly, and then we're just gonna dominate. I think it's just gonna be crazy. I mean, there's a lot of other guys out there that are gonna give us a run for our money, but I don't think anybody can really compare to us after tonight.
Yeah, tonight, Cloud9, 100%, without a doubt, just top to bottom, a dominant performance for the team. Even when it looked doubtful, you looked at qualifying last week and was like, okay, that's interesting. Came out guns a-blazing, most laps led tonight, and obviously the team swept out the top 3 steps of the podium. Before I let you go and enjoy an incredible win here at Daytona, Jeremy, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations, you are a Daytona 250 champion. What a way to kick off the season.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, got to thank Smeal Racing Designs and John Smeal. He was in the race tonight. He was helping push us. So thanks to him. He makes the best paint schemes on iRacing. So go check him out on his Facebook page and go get you a paint scheme. Thank you to Midwest Barbecue and Seth Wansing and the whole Wansing family. They're big supporters of mine, and just got a care package from them. So thank you. Go get some of their smokers, some of the best in the business also. And thanks to my team, Beatron Racing, and thanks to ABN, Carmen, you, and Kevin for broadcasting this. It wouldn't be as big of a deal if you guys weren't here. So thank you for broadcasting like usual.
Glad we were able to be here. Jeremy, again, congratulations. Total team domination. We'll hear from your teammates here in just a minute, but enjoy the race win, Jeremy. What a way to kick off 2023. Enjoy it, and we'll see you at Auto Club next week.
Alrighty, see you then.
Alrighty, that was Jeremy Breo, race winner here at Daytona. Obviously, team domination here. Beatron Racing 1, 2, 3, and 5, with Oberstadt finishing 17th, having just gotten back on the lead lap there at the end of the race. Just making it to the finish with how crazy that race was. We'll go over the final lap here in a second. We'll talk to the rest of the podium here, and then we'll kind of go over that final lap here for those that are tuning in still. We appreciate you spending your Sunday evening with us here on ABN. If you haven't already, feel free to follow us here on Twitch. If you're watching this on demand on YouTube, feel free to give us a subscribe. And feel free to check out any of our social media links with Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Check out our website, abnesports.com. But next up, we're going to be talking to second place finisher Josh Gaiman. Josh, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
What a way to kick off the season. That was a wild one. Teamwork makes the dream work, and that's how it was tonight, rounding out the entire podium for Beatron Racing. Obviously, Daytona, it's been it's a place where you either love it or hate it, and luck is hard to find. You had plenty of it tonight, and to dominate the way that the team did, walk us through your perspective. And obviously, the team raced it out there at the end, but getting to that point, how difficult was it to hold that formation?
It definitely wasn't easy with the runs that people were getting on the outside, and we had. I mean, I think we would have had an easy 1, 2, 3, 4, if that caution hadn't been called. But we were able to just use the fact that most of us were, the top 5, and if we took the bottom, we knew everyone else would probably take the top just to keep us in line. And once we were able to figure that out and get our restarts timed in right, it got a lot easier.
Obviously, and I think this team was highlighted as being the team to beat. It didn't look that way after Speed Weeks. After, obviously, you had the Clash. Obviously, the Clash, obviously 1-2 there at the Clash in LA, but everyone threw that away. Entering the duels last weekend, it was a bit of a different story, a different song and dance. How did the team work? Obviously, 1, 2, 3, and 5 is an incredible result. It's just the cluster there is impeccable. How did this team pull together from the duels? What did that team learn? And how did you build from that? Because that was really the only experience everyone had working with around the rest of the field was last weekend. How did you kind of learn and build from that?
Yeah, I feel like the duels were just kind of a cluster. Everybody was just kind of trying to get as far up as they could as fast as possible. And we knew that with this, we couldn't really just sit there and do that. And we were able to just basically say, like, we have to just stick with it, run right on top of each other pretty much, and then it worked out for us. Obviously, we went to the top a couple of times and it was just way too loose up there, so we just basically decided to get in line and hug the bottom, and if it works, it works. But this was definitely a lot more important than the duels. The duels, you kind of, you finish decent and you're in the race. So it was definitely a lot more serious air going into it.
With Daytona out of the way, obviously the team raced it out, and a second place for you here tonight. We'll talk to Jack here in a second. Now it starts to get a little bit. Obviously, everything's officially begun. The pressure's off now, and now it's just down to business. Fontana coming up. It's a track that hasn't traditionally been kind to you, but you're in a new environment with a new team. How much more comfortable do you feel going into Fontana and going into Phoenix in a couple weeks this time around compared to how it was last season to get the season started?
Yeah, it's definitely good to have a team and more cars to work with and that are going to be friendly around you if you're quick or people aren't going to try to run you over all the time, and just to be able to bounce ideas off of each other too. Because last year I was by myself the whole time, which it's never really fun. But it'll be nice to have people to work with, and because Fontana's a pretty important track for the draft and stuff like that. And until the tires start to wear out, and then it gets a little spread out. So it'll be nice to actually have people to work with to move towards the front.
Absolutely, Josh. Obviously, can't wait to race against you on Thursday nights here in the next couple of weeks. But obviously, tonight's all about the team, all about Beachron Racing and that dominant 1, 2, 3, 5 effort tonight. Before we let you go and celebrate with your team, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, Josh, the floor is yours. Congratulations. Phenomenal performance by the team, top to bottom of the night.
Yeah. First, honestly, shout out to everybody at running with Beachron this season. That was probably the most dominant Daytona performance I've been a part of. So that's always cool to get to do. Shout out to 213 Simware, Makoni Setup Shop, W Energy, all my partners for this year, and hopefully longer. The ARCS guys did a good job running the show for as much as we had a little bit of an issue towards the end there with the cautions and stuff, but what are you going to do? It's Daytona. And everybody at ABN, of course, as always.
Well, Josh, again, congratulations. Second place tonight at Daytona. Phenomenal team effort all around, top to bottom. Jeremy said it pretty well enough. It's complete team effort tonight, and it shows on the leaderboard. Enjoy it. Obviously, we'll see you again. We'll see you tomorrow night for the Roval for HTL, and then we'll see you next weekend.
Absolutely.
That was Josh Gaiman, second place finisher tonight at Daytona for Beatron Racing. Still have one more person to talk to. That is Jack Mulkey, third place finisher. Last year's Airhead 500 race winner. Almost made history tonight. Jack, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
What a race. Obviously, we've heard from your team boss. We've heard from Josh. Teamwork made the dream work tonight, and obviously coordinated effort here. Very colleague racing-like as far as how the team operated the night. Kind of just break it down. It's not very often we get to see something like this, and obviously when you make moments like this happen where it is just you and your teammates battling for the race win, how much more different was this race than normal for you? And just kind of just break down how you're feeling right now.
I feel ecstatic. We're all laughing about it, and Reynolds feels a little upset. I mean, he's laughing about it, but he's upset because we all ditched him on the white flag. I mean, as we were going to, because teamwork makes the dream work. But the first half of the race, I was just trying to chill out and kind of got in the big one there around the halfway point. But after that, we had that long green flag run, and we all just kind of hooked together and left the pack, and we were going to cruise to victory, and then we got all the yellows. We really just focused on restarts, on pushing hard, and getting past the top line, and yeah, that's kind of how it all went down.
Obviously, a lot of familiarity with this team. Obviously, being around, Alex Shemkowski, being around Jeremy Breo, being in this group, it's a bit familiar. But working with this group and being able to work so coherently and cohesively with this group, especially in a race like this, how much more different we heard from Josh about this, but how much more different was this race compared to how you've done plate races and pack races in the past, where either you've had different teammates or you've kind of just been on your own? How different was the approach that this team had this weekend, and how obviously carrying this forward, obviously the next couple races, a completely different sort of formula, but looking at the next couple races, how do you just build on that now that you have this team repertoire and you know that this team system works the way it does? How do you just build on that?
Well, I think I wouldn't even say I was that familiar coming in here, because I've never really done a super speedway race in a stock car with ARCS in general. So a lot of it was just learning like who you can trust, who you can't, who's squirrely, who's not squirrely. But I mean, 1, 2, 3, and Smeal in fifth. I mean, confidence couldn't be higher for the team. So super excited for the next few weeks and the rest of the season and working with everybody. And honestly, like, I wasn't even familiar a lot with the team. Like, I've never raced with Smeal, or never really talked to Smeal, never really talked to Gaiman. So a lot of getting to know them and stuff. So it's been a ton of fun.
Well, Jack, tonight, obviously, way to kick off your 2023 season. Obviously, sporadic races last season. Still wearing the rookie stripes here in the number 27. What do we kick off the campaign? Currently leading the rookie standings with this third place tonight. Before we let you go and just enjoy the night with the rest of your team, is there anyone else you want to shout out and say thank you to, Jack? The floor is yours. Congratulations on the podium tonight. Can't wait to see you back in Champ Car at some point soon. But obviously, congratulations on kicking off the season right.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, obviously want to thank you, Carmen and Kevin, for what you guys do behind the scenes and broadcasting to all the great viewers and showcasing this very fun product. Excited to get back into Champ Car in a few weeks. And yeah, just shout out to ARC, shout out to Jeremy for picking me up. It was kind of a last minute decision. So yeah, a ton of fun. Excited to be here.
Well, Jack, go and enjoy it with your team. Obviously, fantastic night tonight. Hope you had as much fun as we did up here watching. Enjoy it. Have fun. We'll see you next week at Fontana.
All right, thanks.
That was Jack Mulkey, third place finisher here tonight at Daytona. Beatron Racing completely swept the grid here. 1, 2, 3, and 5 for B-Tron Racing. Phenomenal effort for the team, top to bottom. We're going to walk through that final lap just one more time. We haven't had a chance to actually look at it because it did fall apart quickly. Actually, we'll look through the entire last restart here.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
Yeah, because it all happens quick. It all happens as soon as the restart happens here. Obviously, we'll pull up the cameras here. Pace car pulls in and is off to the races.
And the thing is, you'll see on the start here, Tom Sears gets the best jump that outside line had for all the 4 restarts there with help from behind from the 5 or I guess the 43 in this situation. Gets a good push, gets a good jump, and it's just, as we'll cut back here to Seth Wansing and see the back here, as you'll see it kind of tip out here. It's just, they're going 3 wide already. You can see them split in the middle, trying to make something happen because you know that's going to happen. You can see the outside line just not having the momentum, not really making it occur. And then you're going to see coming up in the 3, that's when all the chaos kind of kicks off, right with Sears at the start of the queue. But right now, just trying to log in, and you can see it's a 9-car race. And you can see car on the high side getting split there by the 3. And then there's your first incident right there, the 22 and the 16 toes right away. And then just pandemonium happened in 2 separate areas.
Huge crash there out of turn 3. Obviously, the leaders coming to the start-finish line. Everyone else just trying to scramble and scatter and gain some points here. Presidential Racing, Emma Kruger battling here. I believe that's David Wright in the 42 that survived the melee. But it's all at the front.
Yeah.
Carmen Reynolds got left out for dry. They did exactly what they thought they were going to do.
I mean, it made sense. They're not going to stick by Tommy Reynolds.
It makes a ton of sense.
4.
Like, Reynolds is a bandit racing driver. Like, it's not the same team.
Nope. The only thing and they're not even the same manufacturer.
No.
No allegiance. And then coming to the end, you can see Mulkey tries to make whatever he can, but Braille makes the car wide. Mulkey gets a little tap into Gaiman. Gaiman keeps it off the wall, keeps it on the wall, gets it. Tommy Reynolds almost steals second position there. Almost made it work with the cars fighting, but Braille, once he got clear 3 and 4, he was basically smooth sailing.
Yeah, once they started side drafting each other behind him, it was pretty well said and done. But a phenomenal race nonetheless. We'll walk through the race results here. Just a phenomenal race all around. You can't say enough about it here. B-Tron Racing 1, 2, 3, and 5. Breo, Gaiman, Mulkey, John Smule in 5th, right behind Tommy Reynolds. Donald Ray, defending race winner from last year, almost was able to do something about it. 6th place for him tonight after what we thought could have been race ending for him about 30 laps from the finish. Ryan Pinnell, 7th place. Compared to where he was last year, not a bad way to start the season. 7th place for him. Emma Kruger, first plate race, first official race in the series. 8th place. Making that rookie fight pretty interesting with Fontana up next. David Wright, Bradley Wright, not related. David Wright for Prophecy Motorsports, Bradley Wright for Bandit Racing, rounding out the top 10. Tommy Withers, Thomas Andrews, Prophecy Motorsports, 11th and 12th. Then Brandon Fetterplace was in the top 10 most of this race, just not the end. 13th place for him. Seth Wansing, our onboard, our in-race reporter, got sent to the stars on that last restart. Still finished 14th ahead of Bryn Roberts. Kevin Feemster in 16th, and Steven Oberstadt in 17th, rounding out the B-Tron Racing stable. Dustin Painter in 18th. Had 29 cars that started this race. Albert George 19th. Josh Garrison 20th. Alex Shimkowski 21st. James Kerr 22nd. Austin Purnell 23rd. Purnell, the first car lap down. 22 cars on the lead lap. The most of any race we did this weekend. It was competitive for a reason. Tom Sears 24th, not what he wanted at the end of the day, but unfortunately that's just how it is. Still a lot of races left before the playoffs. 25 races until then, so plenty of time for Tom Sears. He didn't win until Talladega, which was way down in the season, so he's got some time to figure it out. Same with Cody Riggs for Bandit Racing, 2 laps down for him. Matthew Leiter did not finish the race, 5 laps down for him after being involved in the second green-white checkered accident. Same with Daniel Michel, who ended up not finishing either. All the DNS at the bottom here. Rich Catania, 19 laps down for Line Power. Bandit Racing, Toby Estes, a technical issue keeping him out of the race after just 14 laps. That's going to do it from us here at Daytona. It's been a very long weekend. But we're glad you stuck with us all weekend long. From the Twiggy Air Racing Series on Friday night to the Saturday Night Showdown Series last night, all the way to tonight, the beginning of the A Square Cup Series season for ARCS. We're glad you were with us. It's been a fun weekend of racing. Tomorrow night, myself, Christine, and Ryan will be present for the Charlotte Roval event for HTL. We hope you join us tomorrow night as well. It's been a lot of fun this weekend. But on behalf of everyone here, on behalf of Kevin Young, my co-commentator, on behalf of everyone here for ARCS, for Darkside Mustangs, Windy Chevrolet, Midwest Barbecue, on behalf of everyone here at ABN, I'm Carmen Hardy. Stay safe, stay healthy. If we don't see you tomorrow night, have a great rest of your week. But until then, we'll see you next time.